Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Melvin on the Mic, and I'm welcoming back BYOB, Dwight Morris, Rochelle Houston.
Hello, everyone.
And we're also introducing a new guest. We have Candace Shields from the Society of Royals.
Hello, everybody.
We're going to be doing a seminar, the Don't Do It seminar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to hand it off to Dwight and let him take over.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Thinking with Build Your Own Brain, BYOB. Now, we normally tell everybody, we encourage everybody and uplift everyone to do something great, to do something special, to do something awesome, right? But with this seminar, it's totally different. We are encouraging you to not do something. And that's why it's called the Don't Do It Seminar. I am, again, Dwight J. Morris Jr., the president, founder of BYOB. Sitting next to me, we have the lovely...
My name is Rochelle J. Houston. I am the COO and the Director of Social Media for Build Your Own Brain, LLC.
Yeah, and reintroducing our special guest with us tonight on Melvin on the Mic, we have the Candace Shields in the building. That's when I want a round of applause right about now for Candace Shields. Man, give me a round of applause for the Candace Shields with the Society of Royals. Hey, that royalty, baby. All right, so check it out. Seminar bookings for BYOB.
You can email us at buildyourownbrain1111@gmail.com. And then you can also, we do accept Cash App donations, Venmo, and Zelle, and you can do it by the phone number 713-851-0025.
Cash App, Zelle 24/7, everybody. So notice the screen that we have on display right now. It's a heart that's broken apart, okay? And this seminar, the Don't Do It seminar, we're gonna focus on putting that heart back together. Because what we don't wanna do, what we're all focused on today, is suicide.
Yeah.
That is the topic of today. Suicide, everybody. We don't want to commit it. We don't want to hurt ourselves. We don't want to pull that trigger. We don't want to hang. We don't want to take too many drugs to overdose. We want to love ourselves from within and uplift ourselves. And in this seminar today, we are going to demonstrate the techniques, some technologies. So get your pen ready to play it back, because all of this good information is going to help you and others love yourself from within. And it can also help other people that you know that may be going through something like depression, anxiety, and stress. They can draw them to that point of being at their rock bottom. And when you're at that rock bottom, bad decisions can come about. And that's what we want to avoid. We don't want to do it. Broken hearts, they deal with guilt. We're going to touch on feeling unattractive, because that's part of being depressed and feeling down and low. And we're also going to touch upon the ego and how the ego sometimes makes us feel like we're the only one going through this type of situation, which is a total illusion. You are never the only one. The ego spits out something like, with BYOB, we call it the triple E effect. What's the triple E effect? Everyone else is excellent. That's how you feel. You know what I mean? Like everybody else is doing a good thing and I'm sitting here stuck. No, you are not alone. So don't feel like that. See, what we're going to get over and explain in this seminar is that your two physical eyes, they tell lies. Your eyes tell lies. And those lies begin with I. Watch this. An example. I don't have enough. That's not me. I can't do that. Or I can't imagine. Or I don't know how. All of those I's are lies that we're telling ourselves. And so what today we're going to do in this seminar is put our hearts back together. We're going to mend that back together with nothing but love. And when you say I can't imagine, that's when you cut off everything. Yeah. Because we want to uplift our imagination within this experience called life. So we got to stop seeing with our physical eyes, and we got to start seeing what we divinely possess.
Yeah.
Because within Build Your Own Brain, you have 4 possessions that you got to train up. The first possession, thought. Second possession, feeling. Third possession, love. And the fourth possession, faith. If you train up these 4 possessions, when you study yourself, check this out, it's going to help you build up more confidence. Self-esteem gets built up also. And the way you can do this is start attending and listening to positive material and seminars.
Yeah, you have to start
What you
doing
think
that.
about that?
What I have to say about this is that basically you have to start seeing yourself doing and feeling in a better place. You have to see yourself doing something that you really love doing. You have to see, if it's taking a vacation, see yourself on that vacation. If it's you getting a promotion at your job, see yourself receiving that promotion. You have to put your mind in a different state of happiness and being grateful and being joyful. And then once you see yourself in that state, start taking the steps that you have to take to get there. Take the positive steps, because if you're taking the negative steps, you're only moving backwards. But to get you out of this depressive state that you're in, you want to take more positive steps that's going to get you to wherever it is that your journey is going to lead you to.
That's right. Candace, bringing you in on the conversation. How do you deal with relieving yourself of any type of guilt?
So it depends on what the guilt is geared towards. That would be different based on scenario. But just in general, the guilt of what you said, everybody else is excellent. First of all, I have to say, I love that. But I think it's just really getting to know you. That's the biggest thing. I can't feel guilty about where somebody else is because I don't know their journey. I don't know what it took them to get there. I can find out. That is a resource that we have that many people don't tap into. If you want to know how somebody got to where they got, ask them. Reach out. You'll be surprised by their story. Because a lot of times all we see is what we see. Like you say, your eyes lies, because we live in a social media society, where everybody is living their best life, when in actuality, all you are seeing is a very quick snapshot of something. You don't know the financial struggle. You don't know the mental struggle. You don't know the physical struggle. You don't know the emotional struggle. You don't know the steps. You don't know how many years they've put into getting to that. You don't know how long they had to save to get to that. You don't know how long they had to work, how many overtime hours. You don't know how many no's it took to get to that yes.
Oh, wow.
So I can't compare. And you have to make that decision, right?
Right.
For me, it is making a cognizant decision every single day when I get up to say, if I was allowed to be here one more day and to put my 2 feet onto the floor, right?
I like that.
Then it is my decision and my duty to keep putting one foot in front of the other to step towards whatever my purpose is. And I can't do that focusing on everybody else's journey. All I can do is mine. My struggles, my pauses, my delays, a lot of them, if we take ownership, because they are self-induced.
Yes.
That's a topic for a whole nother day. I could go on a whole soapbox about that. But as far as going back to your question with the guilt, that's how I overcome it. I can only do me. And it doesn't mean walking in this world tunnel vision. It means that I am responsible for my actions. I am responsible for my words. I am responsible for how I put myself out into the world. That's the only thing I can own, because at the end of the day, when I get to heaven, God's not going to ask me, oh, what did so-and-so do to you? What did so-and-so say to you? That's not going to be the concern. It's going to be, what did I do? Right?
Right.
What did I do for me? What did I do to me? What did I do to others? So waking up with that mindset, that's what helps me overcome the guilt.
Got it.
Because what am I feel guilty about? I'm going to be mad at me? Okay, well, I can change that. So even that is no reason to sit into that guilt and be mad at yourself, because you have the ability to change that. If you are not happy with where you are, work towards it. Yeah. Find your resources, reach out. That's the flip side of the social media. We live in a world where everything is accessible to us. We just have to make the decision to take the steps to do so.
So many people get stuck in that guilt.
They do.
From the past. Melvin, how do you handle it?
There's a lot of different ways, and it's like she said, it's hard to just to blanket it, because if you ask me, like, how do I handle the guilt of eating bad food, I handle it by eating more of it. I mean,
you're human.
So in that aspect, I give in, right? Because I'm like, I shouldn't eat this burger, but I really want it. I'll just walk some more,
Okay.
But in life, though, in all seriousness, so like it's a lot of what Candace said. It's like you it's good to compare yourself to others if that means that you want to work to goals to achieve what they're achieving. but it's not good to compare yourself to others if you're going to use that as a crutch to say that you can't do it, right? So I'm very big on setting goals. When I was on with you guys at the Daily Smoke, that was something I said, setting goals and achieving goals, right?
That's right.
And so if you think you can't achieve something, you can reverse engineer it, work backwards, and set it into a series of steps, right? So if your goal is to get to, for instance, one of the things I'm working on right now is growing my YouTube audience. And I want to, I wanted to hit 20,000 for the longest time. And so for me, every time I hit 100 more subscribers, I had a little mini victory for myself. And I'm like, yeah, I got 100 more, right?
That's it.
And then I finally hit that 20,000 and now my goal is 50,000. So now incrementally, instead of every 100 I'm celebrating, now I'm celebrating every 1,000, right? So I broke it down to give myself a goal that is achievable instead of just saying, man, I'm never going to hit that number. And then you emulate what successful people do. So just like Candace said, either you ask them what they did to get there. One of my favorite social media experts and people out there is Gary Vee. And he said, people said, what's it like to become an overnight success? And he goes, overnight success, it took me 10 years.
Yeah.
And we only see that snapshot of it.
Yeah.
That's
the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, we come across the Instagram picture and like, oh man, they did this last night. No, it took years.
10 years of hard work. And then also off camera earlier, because we did some reaction videos today, Candace was like, well, how long have you been doing YouTube? Well, if you look at my YouTube anniversary date, I think my YouTube account started in 2006 or 2009. But I didn't start creating content till about 2012. But I didn't actively pursue creating content in the sense of like turning it into something till about maybe like 5 years ago. But most of my growth has come in the last like year and a half. And it's because I began to take it more serious and I set goals.
Setting goals. That's
Set
it.
goals.
And can I just, before we move on,
Yes.
something you just said, Melvin, is take it serious. I have learned you cannot make grown people do what they do not want to do, right?
Yep.
So it doesn't matter. I could talk about, I say losing weight because this is something that I work on and it's been a journey, right? So, but I didn't really actively, to your point, start working to lose weight until I hit a certain point where in my mind and my will aligned, right? To say, okay, I'm actually going to do this. I talked about it for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
It was always, oh yeah, I need to lose weight. Oh yeah, I need to lose weight. Man, I need to lose weight. Like I said, I just shouldn't eat this. I need to lose weight. Okay, but you can talk about it all day long until you make the decision that I'm actively going to do this. I'm going to actively pursue this goal. I'm going to, make the sacrifices. I'm going to put forth the effort. I'm going to do the research. I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to do all of that. I'm going to obtain support. Until you actively put that, you're not going to achieve a goal. You're just talking about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a huge difference between talking about it and being about it, right? Yeah. So once you do that and you make that decision in your mental, then your will align with that, because the actions that you take and the effort that you take will line up to what you're talking about.
Yes.
So.
I love that.
I do too. That's ooh.
I love that.
You're giving me chills, Candace.
Society of Royals in the building. All right, so the next slide that we want to get into are a couple of numbers that are going to focus on how serious and how much we need to be aware of suicide and what's going on within the last 3 years. So next slide. We're going to get to that. Let's see here. My click not working. Let's see.
For some reason it's showing on my screen. Try it now.
Let's see. There we go. All right, so here we go. 2020. Suicide was the 12th leading cause of death overall in the United States, claiming the lives of over 45,900. Now, see, this number is coming from the National Institute of Mental Health, everybody.
Wow.
Okay? So you can go to that website, National Institute of Mental Health. And now the second part. Got that second part, Richard? What? The research team?
Oh, yeah. A research team analyzed national suicide data from the Centers of Disease and Control Prevention. I just read that wrong. The researchers identified 5,568 U.S. youth age 5 to 24 years who died by suicide over the first 10 months of the pandemic, which was March 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020.
5 years old, Melvin.
When I saw that,
That jumps out. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
5 years old. And that's why I brought in Candace.
Yeah.
Because with the Society of Royals, they focus, their organization focuses on the age group of 5 to 25, male and female, who commit suicide or attempt suicide. Candace, can you explain more about that?
Sure. So we focus on mental health overall in youth and young adults. However, when we first began, it was a huge focus around suicide because it was close, near and dear to our founder, Ste Pierre. But what's crazy to me is we're looking at the slide where it says it was the 12th leading cause of death overall, just overall. But when you narrow down the age groups from 10 to 18, it is, or 10 to 24, it is the second leading cause of death.
Oh.
So you think about that. And I always say, we always say our children are our future. But if we have no children, then what does that mean, right?
Yep.
We have no future. And a lot of people are removed because they don't think about it. You know, we think about suicide as a grown-up problem. You know, with these grown-ups, we get overwhelmed,
Right.
we get depressed, and we feel sad, and we, you know, make these decisions, right? But it's not. It's not just it's not a grown-up problem. 5. Can you imagine? I have a 9-year-old. I have a 6-year-old niece. She just turned 6. Can you imagine the young people in your immediate circle? Think about your children, your nieces, your nephews. So being so pressed, right, in this world to say, I can't do it.
Yep.
I can't be here anymore. I don't need to be here.
It's amazing how we have to teach a 5-year-old not to hate themselves.
Not only, it goes deeper than hate. So you think back to your childhood. We all had things, right? We were so much more sheltered from certain things than our youth are now. We didn't have cyberbullying because we didn't have the internet. I'm an 80s baby. We didn't even have, you know, all of that. But not only that, we struggled financially in my home. I didn't realize to what degree until I was an adult. And, you know, being an adult in your own struggles, and you have some of those grown-up conversations with your parents, and you're like, I didn't even know we were going through that because that wasn't our business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but these children these days, they go to school knowing that mom and dad are struggling to pay the light bill or the rent, or, you know, we had to go move because, you know, this situation was happening and we got evicted. And they know all of the tea, right? And I mean, from the littlest ones, they can tell you all of the ins and outs that are going on in their household because we don't keep anything. And sometimes we're having these conversations directly with the children, but sometimes we're just so out and about. The kids are right there and we're yelling and screaming and arguing and doing whatever. And they're privy to all of that. They know there's problems at home. And now they start to try to figure out what is the root cause. And in their little undeveloped, fully minds, it's me. If I was here, maybe we wouldn't be struggling so much. If mom and dad didn't have to pay, you know, for all of the things that I want, then maybe they could pay the rent. Yeah. If, you know, I wasn't here, then maybe mom and dad wouldn't fight so much with themselves. Or not even mom and dad, because a lot of these households don't even have mom and dad. They have one or the other.
Yep.
And then there's that as well.
Right,
there's so many facets. From depression, from anxiety. So many of these kids suffer from anxiety. There's so many facets, but then you also have to think about their environment, their internal environment that speak to that. And not only that, like we are in a society where we grew up where children were to be seen and not heard, which is not okay either, right? But now we're in a society where so many adults are like, I'm doing me. I'm living my best life. I'm not worried about you. I brought you in this world, but I'm not worried about that. So these kids don't feel seen. Yeah. They don't feel heard. They don't feel taken seriously. They go to the adults in their lives to say, I'm struggling with this. I'm feeling this kind of way. And are met with, you're just being dramatic.
They're not
what
being
do you
nurtured.
mean you have worries? You don't have nothing to worry about. You don't pay bills. You don't have this. And you're right. They're not being nurtured. We're not taking them seriously when they're crying out to say, I'm struggling. I need help. Because we're too busy focused on what we're focused. We're trying to reach our goals. I don't have time to worry about it. You're being dramatic. You're going to be all right. Go play.
Do you know of any 5-year-olds that have committed suicide?
Personally, I do not. However, throughout our organization, yes. We help so many parents find resources. We encounter so many different other organizations that are suicide-based that are dealing with this. We've participated in so many walks. We hold seminars as well. And it's amazing when we have held seminars for these students and you have these elementary students pouring their hearts out to you.
Right.
Like, I can't help but get emotional because it's things that you feel like, I think about the parent that I am and I'm so protective and that's my baby. I prayed for her. You know what I'm saying? And so I couldn't imagine my child being in a situation where she didn't feel loved or she didn't feel hurt or she didn't feel seen. But it is such a high percentage. It is more the norm than not. And we've got to fix that.
I'm going to be vulnerable real quick. I was that one, not at 5, but 6 or 7. I tried to commit suicide.
Yeah.
The reason why I tried to commit suicide because I didn't want to be here. The reason why I did not want to be here because I didn't feel important. How come I didn't feel important? Because at this time, from my first memory at 4 years old, I was seeing my mom, my dad go through domestic violence. So that led to divorce. And whenever they would fight, I'm the oldest sibling, okay? So I'm seeing things before my brother and sister hit the scene, okay? So they don't know the experience that the sights that I've seen. Yeah. And that being 4 and 5 years old, hiding in your toy box from violence and clenching to toys and trying to find some type of comfort, that drove me as a child to feel like I'm not important. So they got the divorce, and then on top of that, oh man, he didn't come and get me as much, skipped a lot of weekends. So now I'm not feeling like I'm valued enough for him to come show love when I'm sitting there thinking like they're telling me he's coming to get me, but he never shows up.
Yeah.
And that happened time and time again. But at the age of 6 and 7, though, I got fed up with it.
Yeah.
And it was a lousy try of a suicide. It was a lazy, lousy attempt because hey, I failed. I'm still here.
I'm glad you failed.
That's not something I would consider a failure. So.
It was a good one, a good failure. But what I did though, being 6 or 7, I didn't know how to take myself out, so I just laid in the middle of the street. And my mom seen that from outside. She was in the house. I was outside at my grandmother's house, my grandparents' house in their neighborhood. And she saw that. And when she saw that happening, boy, she whooped my ass. So I connected then to like attempting suicide was something bad. Like, don't do it, you can get your ass whooped. You know what I mean? On top of that, you don't know what's on the other side of it, Yeah. But that attempt right there, that set up me not trying to do it again. But the thoughts
Doesn't go away.
Those thoughts don't go away because depression, what it does, it brings it back up. That stress, what it does, it brings it back up, and you feel hurtful inside. You feel alone inside, like you're the only one going through this type of situation, and that is a total illusion.
It is an illusion. We used to do an I Am Worth It seminar before we evolved to where we are in our organization. We catered towards young girls, and the organization was called You Are a Queen. And it was really built around building self-esteem and finding self-worth, those kind of things. And I was one of the speakers in one of our summits, and I had everybody in the room close their eyes. And I would tell them, when I say something that relates to you, I want you to stand, right? Of course, by the time I finished my list, stand up if you've ever felt alone. Stand up if you've ever felt like you weren't pretty enough. Stand up if you ever felt like your voice wasn't heard. Stand up if you ever felt like you didn't matter. Stand up if you felt like this. And by the time I got to the end of the list, of course, I already knew that everyone in the room would be standing. Yep. What was impactful is when I finished my list, I told everybody to open their eyes. And the reaction and the response in the room when they realized every person in the room is on
going
their
through
feet.
it. Yeah.
And it's amazing when you see these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 16-year-old, and even the adults that were in the room have an aha light bulb moment. Like, oh, you
going through it too?
You?
Yeah.
Wait, everybody? Mm-hmm. And it is healing.
Right.
When you realize that you are not by yourself.
Yeah. Right.
And that everybody has their own struggles, and we all have our feelings of self-doubt. And it's not about that we have them, it's what do we do with them.
Yeah.
That's the part that matters. How do we overcome that, and how do we as a society nurture the resources that are available to us, both internal and external, to achieve that? right?
Our superpower as human beings, our superpower, I truly believe, is the ability to choose.
Yeah.
The choice. We got a choice to make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can go left, you can go right.
Yeah.
But it's your decision. And before you make that decision just to end everything, think about others. Think about the what if, the possibility of, the tomorrow. Stop bringing yesterday into tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is tomorrow.
Yeah. You got to leave yesterday in the past. You can't bring something else that happened on a different day into your right now, because all you have to live for is right now, this very given moment that God has presented to you.
That leads me to the next slide. Check this out, Melvin.
All right.
Suicide. Candace said this on one of the reaction videos we did earlier too.
Yep.
Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Phil Donahue.
Yeah.
Now on this slide right here, I want to focus on 3 words: permanent, temporary, and problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go in reverse. Problem is always an illusion. Write that down. Take that to memory.
It's also subjective.
There
right?
you go. Temporary. Temporary is always true, because this time shall pass.
Yeah.
So believe that. And the only thing that's permanent is the love of God that's in your brain.
Yes, it is.
Hey, I like that timing. Round of applause for that one, man. You got to also remember that the battle is not yours. Release it.
Yeah.
Release, let go of that guilt, let go of that stress, and know that there is going to be a better day. And it starts right now.
I want to add to that. You just made the comment about our superpower.
Yeah.
And our ability to choose.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things that we have in untapped power is the fact that your testimony is more important than you will ever realize in the moment, right? Our testimony is our ability to be at what we consider important.
Mm-hmm.
What we consider important is how we are viewed and those kind of things. Your testimony is life-saving. Your testimony to someone else is detrimental. And it may be someone that you've never even met, you've never come across. Your testimony, your ability to smile through, your ability to overcome, it's detrimental to someone else, because in this moment, like we said, this temporary problem, I can only see through my tunnel vision, this temporary problem. I feel like I will never overcome this. I will never get on the other side of this. How can I, all I can see is this. But there's somebody else down the street, across the way, next door, in my space, who has been through what I've been through. And if they are just willing, if we are willing, if we make the choice to be transparent enough, just to say, oh, you'll get through that.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know? Because I've been there.
Yeah.
I was there. I have a niece who was molested when she was younger by her mother's boyfriend. And that was really hard. I mean, of course, that's deep, right? That's a heavy topic. And she went through a period of time where when we were connected, because I was not always a part of that part of my family. And so in our adult lives, because she's an adult now, and we got connected, but when she was still really young in her adulthood, she would call me, just to talk, because it would be heavy on her. Right. And to vent, and I would always just encourage her, right? I would just encourage her. I would give her words of encouragement. And one day she hit me and she said, "You don't know it, Candace. How you say such things, but you don't know, because you don't know what this feels like." And I started to laugh. And she was like, "I don't see what's funny." And I had to tell her, "You don't see what's funny is because you don't know that I do know. I was there. I've been there." And I had to share my testimony with her. And she said, "I never knew that about you. You're always so positive and you're so happy, and, you are married and you have a good marriage and blah, blah, blah." I said, "All of that is things that you see and you assume. Yes, I am happy, but you wouldn't have known if I wasn't, if I didn't tell you that, if I didn't share that with you, right? Because you only see from the outside looking in. But the thing that you're not hearing is that I choose to be. I choose to be a victor, not a victim of my circumstance." That person is not thinking about me. He don't get up every day thinking about what he did to me when I was 11 years old. But why would I give him that power?
Yeah.
You know, why would I live my life in misery and hopelessness thinking about something that happened to me in the past when there's so much more ahead of me?
Right.
When I can sit here and be a blessing to you to let you know that there's on the other side. There is another side, right? That you can overcome it and you can make the choice to be happy. You can make the choice to live your life because he's going to have to answer for that one day, you know? So it's our testimony. There's so much power in our testimonies, and just stop trying to pretend that our lives are perfect and without flaw and that everything is great and hunky-dory. If we just open up and be compassionate, empathetic, transparent human beings, we could heal our land, like literally, because there's so much power in a testimony.
With that compassion and that empathy, though, you also have to be bold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not with other individuals. I'm talking about being bold with yourself.
Yeah.
Being bold within yourself, to stand up to yourself, to cancel out all those those false reasons and excuses. All those reasons and excuses, those are false values built up within yourself due to you accepting all of that guilt from your past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you pulling all that past and you putting it in your right now into your future. And what you were doing, you were taking away your ability to be grateful.
Yeah.
You have to understand. You have to be grateful. You have to be bold, and on top of that, stand up to yourself.
Yeah.
Because see, you are your own giant. You
Yes.
make yourself your own grasshopper. You see what I'm saying? So what you do, see, it's just like in the Bible, David and Goliath. That Goliath, that's your depression. That's your stress. That's that guilt. That's whatever they did to you in your past.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that lower mental state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got a slingshot. You got some stones. Pop him in his forehead. And then on top of that, take that double-edged sword, just like David, and go chop that head off of depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go chop that head off of guilt and then hang it up. And you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I did that. It's bloody. I'm the
can see
conqueror. I'm the
this right now.
You know what I'm saying?
I was just
I'm
about to
claiming
say
that.
the
I'm the
visual.
victor. I'm the victor, not the victim player. You feel me? That's what you got to do. You got to build your own brain, baby. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Now, this next slide is so important because, Melvin, we got to talk about some knowledge.
All right.
Some life knowledge, okay? Now, watch this. You want to read this one?
Yeah, for sure. So Proverbs 4, verse 23 through 24 reads, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Put away from thee a froward mouth, and perverse lips put far from thee."
Now that breakdown. This is the BYOB breakdown of what these words mean. Do not be pessimistic in your mind. Worrying comes from negative thinking. Stop speaking poverty and sickness upon yourself. That's what the perverse lips put far from thee. What does that mean? Stop saying I can't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say this. When you say I can't, it stops you from doing something that you are truly capable of doing.
Yeah.
I always tell people that you can always do something if you put your mind to it. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep going.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you fall down and how many times you fall short, as long as you're able to pick yourself back up and keep going, that's the golden prize right there, because you're not quitting. You're not sitting in that negative state of mind. You're not
Yeah.
worrying about the what ifs or the how coulds or any of that. You know, you're focused, your tunnel vision in that moment when you keep going forward. You don't want to step back or anything like that. You just want to be able to keep progressing in life, and the more that you're able to progress,
Yes, ma'am.
the bigger your vision gets. You're
Yeah.
able to touch it, you feel it, you can see it, you know, versus you not even giving it a try.
But you just said a key word, and that's vision.
Vision.
Yes.
When we lack vision, we lack hope.
Yes, we
Right?
do.
And when you think about vision, having vision can change your perspective.
Oh,
And then you go back to what we're saying here. We know that life and death lie in the power of the tongue. And so you speak, so you think, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about that, not even just how we talk about ourselves, but how we talk about our situations. If we speak that our situations are temporary, then our perspective will be that they are temporary, and we can see past them because we have vision. to the other side, right? We have vision to not be broke. So instead of saying I'm broke all the time, you just say I'm not there yet. And when you do that, it's something so small as changing your verbiage will change your perspective.
Yep.
And changing your perspective when you have vision is the difference between hopelessness and hopeful. So when you have vision, you are hopeful because you are working to reach the vision, right? To reach the goal. When you have none, you are hopeless because you have nothing to look forward to. You have nothing to work towards. So it all goes hand in hand.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. You know who has vision? Melvin on the mic. Man, I'm trying to tell you, my man Melvin has a lot of good. I'm talking about vision.
Yes, he does.
Man can see the whole board. You know what I mean? And that's what he does with the podcast, with the different reaction videos that he's got going on. The subscribe. He sees more than 30,000 subscribers. He sees, you know what I'm saying? He sees more than 20,000 comments. You know what I mean? You got to have that vision. You got to have vision.
I actually just wrote something down. It said, don't dwell on the problems of the past that you cannot change. Focus on the victories you have ahead of you. So
Yes.
I was thinking that based on everything y'all were talking about, but I didn't want to like
No,
jump into
no,
somebody.
jump in there.
Yes. Yes. So
But,
y'all get a pen, write that down. Repeat that, Melvin, one time.
Don't dwell on the problems of the past that you cannot change. Focus on the victories you have ahead of you.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and these are the things in our organization. We do a lot of seminars. We have developed a 5-component curriculum that deals with building self-esteem, building healthy relationships, social responsibility, suicide prevention and awareness, and anti-bullying, of course. But the other part of what we do is we do a lot in the community to help bring individuals who are forward thinking, who have vision, whether they are there or not yet. We put them in the place and in the lives of these children, of our youth, so that they can see that, because mentorship is huge, right?
Yes.
When you are not in your 6 walls, your 4 walls and your ceiling and floor and your 6 walls, when you don't have that, it doesn't mean that you cannot access it.
God.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And you can't expect a 5-year-old to think that way, but you can put people in their lives that think that way
Right.
to help nurture and encourage and develop that type of thinking.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of what we do. It's really about how do I help you in your situation when you don't know how to help you in your situation, because it may not be your mom or your dad or your uncle or aunt. It may not even be your teachers or your preachers or whomever in your community, but there is a community of people, whether it's in your small individual community or not. There is a community of people out here who support you, who want to see you go and fulfill the life that you were put here to fulfill, right? And so it goes back to the resources. Like, how do we go into them so that we can help them build vision?
Right.
You know, how do we have, one of the things that my sister did a few years back in their small town where I grew up, she took the kids and the youth in the community, and we did a vision board party. We broke it down into groups, the elementary kids, the middle school age kids, the high school kids. And we were broken down into groups as the adults to mentor them and help them through their vision boards.
I love vision boards.
And these kids had never seen vision boards or heard of vision boards.
They didn't even know the concept yet.
Yeah, they didn't even know the concept. And so when you start talking about
Just
it, of course,
opened up their
their
mind.
initial thought is, oh, let me cut out some pictures. No, it's deeper than that. Like, what is it that you want to do? I had the pleasure of being with the high school students. And I'm like, you guys are getting ready to enter into a whole new phase of life. Mm-hmm. What does that look like for you in your mind? How would you like that to play out? Cool. I mean, think as big as you can think. Now let's talk about how we can make that happen. Right. What steps do we need to take? Like Melvin said, break it down into attainable goals so that you can get there. Because if I have just one big goal, I want to be a millionaire, and I can't get past a thousandaire, then it's hopeless, right? But if I can say, let's become a thousandaire first, okay, cool. I've developed some savings, some good habits, and now I've got a couple thousand. Now it makes more sense. Sweet, I reached this goal. Let's celebrate. Now my next goal is to get into the tens of thousands and then to the hundreds of thousands. Yep. And when you do it that way, it doesn't seem like your goal is so lofty.
Right.
It seems like something, I will get there. I'm just attainable. Not there yet. Right. Versus trying to jump over the Grand Canyon in one leap. And
you have to set smaller goals in order for your larger goals.
A good example I can say that I'm working on right now, while I didn't put together a physical vision board, my goal is continued growth here on YouTube. And I know that one of my biggest time consumption is the editing process, right? So as soon as I can get to the point where I'm making enough money to hire an editor, I'm not going to pocket that money myself. I'm going to reinvest in myself and in my business to get an editor that can take over the editing process to allow me to move on to do more work and bigger projects and different focus of videos. Because although I'm doing a lot of reaction videos right now, we're also doing a podcast. I have a lot of different content I want to focus on, but I can't get to that content because like right now I currently don't have the time. So I've made myself a mental list of what I need to do to free up the time to get to that next step and that next level and what I'm going to do. And the reason I pointed to the side a minute ago when she was in the middle of speaking about becoming a millionaire, and I don't even know if you saw on the wall, but it's a breakdown of the how much you have to make per day, per week, per month to become a millionaire.
Your whole house is like a vision board.
I know, right? It really is.
The one behind Rochelle.
The whole thing is nothing but inspiration.
And that's what you need. Like, we need people like you out in the community to talk to these youth. And we do different events, like we do sports stuff for the kids who are interested in sports. We do things with the arts for those kids who are more arts minded. They want to, write or draw or sing or dance. We do things with STEM because we have our STEM kids. You have to cater to every area of interest, because if you do, that's how you nurture it, right? And that's how you give them something to hope for and to think past this moment, this high school.
And we also, with these 5-year-olds, we're talking about 5, when we talk to them and we influence them with the positive material, right? What we're doing is we're teaching them and guiding them on how to take control of their own inner conversation.
Yes.
So when they're alone, they can rely on those lessons taught. That's in the subconscious mind. They can pull it out. They can feel it. It's like, okay, well, I shouldn't go in this direction. I should go this way, because this way, first of all, it's safer. I feel more comfortable, and there's no problems in this direction. Yep. So that seed has to be planted in that 5-year-old's mind. And also when we're alone, now the alone time, that's critical too.
Yeah.
Alone time is very critical. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the seminar. But when you're in a conversation is incorrect, you have these arguments.
Yes.
You have these
back and forth
in your own mind.
Yeah.
And you confuse yourself. You're filled with like puzzlement, and you go back and forth.
Self-doubt.
Yeah, all that speculation going on, right? But it can be flipped. It can be flipped in an instant by what? Choice. Making that decision to be joyful, to be joyous, uplifting. And another thing, imagination. You have to uplift your childlike imagination. Okay, I didn't say adult-like imagination. Adult-like imagination they deal with bills.
You know what that makes me think of? You remember Willy Wonka?
Yeah, yeah.
And the kid had his grandfather.
Yes.
And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, the obstacle was that they had to find their way out, and I think they had to like burp or something to make the themselves. Because I haven't watched that movie in so long, right?
Yeah, right.
But he had to get the grandfather to think like a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have fun like a child. So that taps into exactly what you're saying, having that childlike imagination.
That's right.
I hadn't seen that movie in forever. It just popped in my head when you're talking about that.
There's so many lessons within these childhood movies, that we just look over. Remember, you don't want to think of your desire. You want to think from your desire. You got to put yourself in it already. It's already achieved. It's already done. We do that. You control the inner conversation, right?
Yes.
And then all those issues of life, they won't be like issues of life.
Yeah.
So
it teaches critical thinking. You wouldn't expect it to, but it does. And I just want to take a moment to challenge the adults, not just the parents, but adults in general. If you have children in your life, to nurture that. I know sometimes it's annoying. I have tons of children in my life, and they can get loud and crazy and wild with their imagination. It's stuff all over your house. That's fine. But to nurture it, I watched an interview with Usher.
Okay.
And he was asked, did you always know that you were going to be a singer? And he said, no. He said, but when I was a kid, I used to sing and dance a lot, all the time. I mean, to the top of my lungs, I would make noise. And he said, the difference in me being the singer that I am now versus not was that my grandmother would always just let me do it. She never told me to go sit down. She never told me to be quiet.
Ooh,
She just let me sing and dance.
Express himself.
And now I'm here.
Right.
You know, and I take that back. I think about Michelle Obama. Our organization was actually fortunate enough when she did her first book tour in Houston. We were one of her chosen organizations.
Congratulations
so
to Society of
our
Royals
girls.
for that, for
Thank you.
sure. Hey, nice.
And so we were able to take some of our girls and some of our youth in our organization to go. And so we sat in on that interview, and she said, you know, when she was a child, she didn't grow up in a household where her parents didn't allow them to speak or to express themselves. You know, if they had a thought or a concern about their day, about something that was going on at home, they were allowed to be a part of the conversation. Not in a way that was, take over the grown people, but you have a voice, use it, right?
Yes.
And so it nurtured that. And that's how she became to be an adult who could speak in any setting, but not only speak in any setting, that could verbally express herself and get a point across. You think about how many people, I worked in retail for 22 years as a manager, a store manager, doing interviews, and there are so many adult people who cannot verbally express themselves because they're not allowed to.
They
in
bottle
their
it
youth.
up, or
Yeah.
Not even just bottling up, they're not allowed to. They're
Yeah.
not allowed to give an opinion. They're not allowed to express their thoughts. So now they are 20 plus, 30 plus, learning how to do something that you need to know how to do when you reach this stage. And we're looking at them as a society, expecting them to do that. And this goes back into triggers, right? We expect them to know how to do that, but we never taught them, and we never allowed them the freedom to do so and to develop that skill, because it is a skill. And so now they're in adulthood having to learn. That's why they argue all the time, right? That's why in every situation it's an argument, or it's this because I don't know how to do it. And my not knowing how to do it creates an insecurity that I have to do it, that I'm not going to do it right, and that you're going to judge me. So instead of working towards it, I'm just going to lash out. Yeah. You know, it's a trickle-down effect.
And that lashing out, and just not at other individuals, that lashing out could be to yourself.
Yeah.
By cutting yourself, by hitting yourself, or hurting
even
yourself.
Self-depreciation, which
Yes.
causes you back into a depressive state. Like, there's so many things that we can do, starting when our children are born, to help nurture not just confidence, but what does that look like? Like, confidence is a big generalized word. There are so many different things that attribute to that, you know, and contribute to that. So, yeah.
Next slide. Watch this, Melvo.
all right.
Do not commit what?
Suicide.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about right there. I'm going to spit some words out. I want to talk about these words real quick. First one, love. You have nothing but abundance and an infinite amount of love in your brain, in your heart, through every single atom, molecule in you. You are built from love. You come from love. Even if your situation saying like, okay, I was adopted, or my parents raped me, I was abused, this and that, I don't have this, I don't. Stop focusing on I don'ts. And you have to focus on where you come from. You come from love. Faith. You got to have belief. You have to believe in something that you can't see right now, but you feel on the inside that it's going to happen. That you know, it's the feeling that you have, you know?
Yeah.
Knowledge. This is another one that can stop that feeling of committing suicide. You got to start doing some research on why do you behave in this way? Why do you make these types of decisions in this type of way? You know, you got to run back, do a reverse on your life. You know what I mean? Go back to your first memory and run it forward and start seeing, okay, well, this is when it starts to form. Another word that's going to block out the feeling of you trying to commit suicide, start giving praise to yourself for your small successes. I'm talking about the very smallest success. The first one is, guess what? Let there be light. What's that? Waking up in the morning.
Yeah.
You opened your eyes this morning. Just that muscle movement from your eyelids. That's a blessing. That's the miracle right there. Then on top of that, guess what? You got up. You moved away from the bed and your feet touched the ground and you went to the restroom and took care of your business in the restroom. All of that. That's miracles right there. Guess what? You need to celebrate that. Because think about how many individuals they can open their eyes, but they can't get up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they don't get stuck in your life like that. Long suffering, sweet words. You know, you got to uplift yourself with these types of things. And here's another most important thing that's going to help block out that suicidal thought. You get to choose. Let me get back to it. I'm sorry, y'all. You get to choose your family.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I was going to say. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
You get to choose who you want to be in your immediate circle.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be blood,
It can be friends. It can be
a neighbor. It could be a
coworkers.
cousin.
You know,
Yeah.
one of my friends told me, he goes, you know what the difference is between friends and family? He's like, you choose your friends.
Yep.
You choose your friends, right? So exactly what you're saying, choose to surround yourself with people that are like-minded and positive and uplifting.
That's right.
Don't surround yourself with that negative person or that negative
The
thing
one that's throwing
going
out-
on, the one that's making you feel less than, or that has you in that depressive state of mind.
Yes.
You do not want to surround yourself around those type of people, because you're going to continue to feel like that. When you surround yourself around good, positive, and uplifting people, then you have the tendency to start feeling like that. And then
Yes.
that also leads to you feeling happier, you feeling happy, joyful, you're being more grateful, you're seeing
Success.
the success, you see the light versus the darkness.
Talking about darkness and light. Here's another one. You got to come out of that room that you're stuck in. You know, the one that you put the covers over your head, you close the blinds, you close the door, you turn off all the lights. It's noon. It's 1 o'clock in the day. The sun is bright outside, but you got the house dark. Let some light in.
Yeah.
That's
You-
just like opening up your mind.
We're talking about the dark and light, and earlier we did the reaction to High Ren. And at the end, when he does the spoken word, one of my favorite things he says is that the brighter the light has shined, the darker the shadow it casts.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I like that part.
Yeah, and so
I
it's
do
kind of like finding, the balance in the two of them.
And I just want to say a couple of things to the words that you are giving out. I don't want anyone listening to think that we are not empathetic to the struggle. It's easy
Yes.
to say that because that's not our mindset right now, right? No, nobody in this room at this moment is thinking about trying to complete suicide. So we understand that we can say these things, but if you're in that situation, it's like you can say that, but if that's not what I'm feeling or thinking because of my internal struggle at this moment, that doesn't matter. So I don't want anyone to think that we don't understand that. What I do want to say is to the adults in that situation, even the young adults, it's the opportunity of finding the resources. Go to counseling. Talk about it. Like, make the decision, as hard as it is, to say it out loud to somebody, because that can start a domino effect to creating a support group that may not be there.
Yeah.
Creating that family that we're talking about, creating those friends, that group of people that say, hey, I heard you and I care about you. Let's figure out how we can help you through this. To the adults in the room, my challenge would be to pay attention to the children that you are surrounding. Because while we can say, have faith, we can say, show yourself love, we can say, make decisions, when we're talking about a 5 or a 6 or a 7-year-old, they are not always equipped with the internal resources to do that. It is up to us to teach them. You have to teach someone who only grew up in negativity and pessimism not to be negative and pessimistic. That's all they know.
And that's not going to be overnight.
It's not going to be overnight at all.
It's gonna take
I
time.
know adults in their 60s and 70s and 80s who are some of the most pessimistic people. And when you listen to their stories of their life, it's because they were raised and surrounded by negative and pessimistic people. So that's the way they know to respond. And it's something that takes a long time, the older you get, to overcome that. So when we as adults are interacting with these young people and we hear negative responses all of the time, pessimistic responses and behavior and attitude all of the time, then it's up to us to not be tunnel vision and turn away from that like we don't see it, or to ignore it. It's to address it, to say, hey, like, talk to me about why do you think that? Why is that your response to that? Let's talk about that. Let's get in deeper than that. And then partnering with the other adults in their lives. And if they are unfortunate enough to have adults in their lives that don't care, then stepping up and being that adult and helping them to develop a community of other adults so that it's not something that you have to take on solely as a responsibility, to help develop a community for that child so that we can teach them. And then when they are in the position to take over that for themselves, they can do so.
Yes.
Like it's easy for us to say that because, like I said, our mindset is one thing, but we got to stop living in the tunnel vision. As human beings in general, we got to start paying attention to those around us, and when you're an adult, it's a lot easier to fake the funk, a lot of us know adults who deal with depression and you would never know it, because they're smiling, they're laughing, they're traveling, they're doing all the things, then they go home and suffer in silence. But when it's a kid, most of the times they're telling you, they're giving you all the signs. The problem is we don't pay attention. It's not my kid.
Yeah.
There it is right there. You got to realize you have everlasting endurance inside of you. There is power for you to accept yourself and your decisions. Now, how do you uplift all of these words that we're talking about, like love, faith, knowledge, and this endurance and laughter and smiling? And that's another thing. Smile on purpose.
Yeah.
You ever try that? Yeah. Bump into somebody, make eye contact, smile.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story, not to interrupt you. I was working in Houston. And went before my shift I was the opening manager, went before my shift across the street to Target. And I was walking in Target, and I'm from the country. I smile at everybody. I smile, I wave, I say hello, all of that. And so it was a small little Asian lady. She was coming out of Target, and she looked so sad. I said, good morning. And she stopped, and she said, are you talking to me? I said, yeah, good morning. And she started to cry.
Wow.
And so I went and I put my arms around her because that's just me. If you know me, that's just what I'm going to do. Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to go inside? I have some time. What do you want to do? Are you okay? Wow. And she said, thank you for saying good morning to me and for smiling. You don't know how much I needed that.
Really? Because you just probably stopped her.
You never know what people are going
never
through.
know what somebody is going through. And that's why I always tell people, your hello, your good morning, your smile, your feedback could be detrimental to somebody. You could be the difference between life and death for somebody, and you don't even know it. And you're doing something that costs you nothing.
Yeah.
That is not something difficult for you to do.
A hello.
I just said, good morning.
Yeah.
I wasn't even smiling when I said it. At first, I just said good morning.
Yeah.
Until she stopped and said, are you talking to me? And that's when I smiled, and I was like, yeah, I just said good morning.
Yeah.
But you don't know how that can impact somebody.
Yeah.
So
spread kindness.
Yeah.
that's it.
So to put these words, how do you live up to these words in everyday life?
Yep.
You learn to celebrate all your successes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All of the small things. Be on time. That's success.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah. I try so hard. Sometimes that doesn't work out in my favor, but I try. I do try.
I'm on time to the things I'm interested in going to. The things that
That's
I'm
where I'm
obligated to
at.
go to and I'm not really that excited about. I might be on time. I might be a little bit late.
Well, you know that Houston traffic.
I might sneak out a little early.
That
That doesn't sneak
traffic.
out a little early is real. The older I get, the more I'm like, y'all ready to go?
We have a couple of friends that we used to say, oh, he Houdini'd, because you look around for him, you realize they left.
They go.
They snuck out when no one was looking.
That's right. And when you start to love yourself, everybody, you start to say to yourself, hey, I want to do this. And since I want to do this, I'm going to have to do that, right? And when you make that decision, now you start developing positive boundaries.
Yep.
Positive boundaries. And now, when those positive boundaries appear, some individuals that you are so-called friends with, they may have to fall to the wayside. You can love them from a distance, you know what I mean? But you have to cut off their opinions.
Yep.
Because you got to learn what it is to be silent. And you have to learn what it is to do.
It's like they say, who speaks the loudest is not always the wisest. And a lot of the
Yes.
times these people's opinions and their doubts and their negativity might be the loudest thing you're hearing every day. So if you keep surrounding yourself with that loudness, you're going to start to believe it too.
Mm-hmm. Walt Disney. Tell them what Walt Disney said.
Walt Disney says all of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them.
The courage.
You know what I
That's
mean?
a big word.
Okay, look. So watch this. Watch this. So the definition of dreams, Internet Dictionary. Okay, watch this. It says a series of thoughts, images, and sensations occurring in a person's mind during sleep. Mm-hmm. It's a cherished aspiration. It's a cherished ambition, and it's a cherished ideal.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's something that is greatly desired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, courage. Watch this. Courage, Internet Dictionary. The ability to do something that frightens one.
One, yes.
Strength in the face of pain. Strength in the face of grief.
Yeah.
Courage.
You got to take the leap.
Courage can come in many forms too, because
Yeah, break it down, Melvin.
just even sitting down in front of this camera right now takes courage. When you decided to take the leap of starting BYOB, that took courage. The same thing for you with the Society of Royals. That took courage, right? When I have guests on, they're like, man, you make this look so easy. I was like, yeah, because I've done it over 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You know, but the first times I did it, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And every time before I do my intro, and y'all saw me, every time I go,
Yeah.
and that's because I calm my nerves before I jump into this, because I'm not necessarily nervous, but I still just want to do it right. But that's just a small dose of courage, like just this way I can account to it. But it's like, here's a good story, a good analogy.
Yeah.
I grew up the quiet kid. I never talked. I never got in trouble. I never barely spoke a word in school or anything. Got my first job, my first official job, sacking groceries at Randall's on my birthday. I started on my birthday because I was so excited to work. And that was back when you had to ask the customer, do you want paper or plastic?
Oh.
And y'all remember those days?
Yeah.
And you would actually take the groceries to the car for them.
Right.
And I remember the first day I was like, paper or plastic? And then they're like, huh? And I was like, paper or plastic?
Yeah.
Man, one weekend I was like, paper or plastic? How y'all doing today? You know, blah, 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 blah. And like I stacked their groceries all perfect because I'm OCD like that. And then it got to the point they would request me over the intercom to sack individuals' groceries. But initially I was just so scared to even talk or anything, and then in getting a job helped with my courage of speaking to people.
Yeah.
And breaking through, because that was like one of the hardest leaps for me, was to just talk to strangers.
That's tough.
I think the other thing too, when we talk about courage, it goes back to perspective for me, because a lot of things that stops people from pursuing their dreams is not the fear of doing it, it's the fear of failing, of doing it wrong. And for me, one of the mantras that I live by is, I didn't fail, I just need to make another attempt.
Adjustment.
If you stop thinking of it not working out as a failure and start thinking of, okay, well, that was attempt number 1, and now I'm going on to attempt number 2. I'm going to continue attempting to get this done until I get it done.
You know what I call that?
Perspective.
Failing upward.
There you go.
Ooh.
You keep failing until
I
you
like that,
eventually
Melvin.
succeed, you know? Like, it might take 5 attempts before you get it right. Just today we were talking about, right? Like, I've been doing the reaction videos for a long time, and I released the videos, but it was when I released their videos a couple of weeks ago that I did them all back to back that I had a huge surge, right? So I wasn't necessarily failing in the past,
Yeah.
but by changing up what I was doing, I found a better formula that helped me to succeed quicker. So I failed upwards, sort of, you know.
And that leans toward my next
I didn't
point.
Cut
That's
you off.
that's adapting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You adapt.
I love that
because you got to
feeling.
learn from it, right? And as you learn,
Yeah.
you grow from it, and as you grow, you adapt.
Yeah.
And you,
And
make it happen.
any big entrepreneur, business person, any of them, you take what's his name that owns the Mark Cuban.
Okay.
He'll tell you how many failures he had to get to the successes he has. And I can't remember the numbers, but I remember him specifically being one of those people who talks about this all the time.
Yeah.
All these people on Shark Tank, how many failures did they have before they succeeded?
Yeah.
So the first step is just taking the leap and trying.
You're going to get a whole bunch of no's before you get to that one yes that's going to change your life.
Yeah.
So you got
And it
to,
only takes one.
only one.
It only
Yep.
takes
Just that one. And what it is, you have to be happy and lovable within the patience, within the waiting for that one.
You have to.
You know what I mean? Don't let yourself get down. Don't let your dream turn into a nightmare. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't let your dream, because it can. if you start worrying about how it's gonna happen, who I need to talk to.
You can't worry about how.
Yeah.
That's one thing that you cannot do, because when you worry about how, it's just illusions after illusions after illusions, and then you don't really get anywhere.
Yeah.
But when you have that faith, you put
Yeah.
you put all of your faith into it,
trust
and,
in it, yeah.
and you trust in it, and you believe in it, and you keep working towards it, and then it's gonna come to you.
And I want to say, so you said the word happy.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad is a preacher, and he said this in a sermon, and it has stuck with me forever.
Mm-hmm.
Don't work to make yourself happy, because happiness happens. It's circumstantial, right? Something has to be happening for you to be happy in that moment, right? But something else can happen that will cause you to not be happy in that moment, to be sad or to be angry or whatever. Instead, focus on finding something that gives you joy.
Yes.
Joy is internal. Joy cannot be wavered. Because if you find something, notice I said something and not someone, something that brings you joy, that is always going to bring you joy no matter what the circumstance
Right.
is.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So we as people, we want to be happy. Well, sometimes you will be and sometimes you won't be. It doesn't take away your joy,
Right.
whether you are or not.
And whatever it is, like for example, I like washing my car. I don't like going through the car wash. I want to hand wash my own car. You know what I mean? That brings me joy. That may not bring somebody else joy, but it brings me joy. Just to turn on the water hose, putting on the soap, the bubbles. You know what I mean? Just the strokes, or just wiping down the tires and everything. That brings me joy.
You want to wash my car?
Not today.
I was just say, let me know.
Gotta
Is
cool
it just
off.
your car or is it cars in general?
Gotta cool
Because
off.
I was going to say, it's,
I would definitely
My
love to
car.
contribute to your joy.
it's 97 degrees. The car will be dry before you finish washing it.
It would bring me joy to bring you joy. So I will bring my car to you anytime.
But yes, that joy, it's that staying happy within that mental state. Stay within that mental state,
Yeah.
and you will stay out of that suicidal path or journey. That thought, you can eliminate it. You know, so you got to keep a dream a dream. So stay within that imagination before you go to sleep, and after when you wake up, you stay within that imagination. You know, you claim it. You don't say I'm a worker. No, say I'm a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I live in an apartment, but I stay in an apartment, but I live in a house. You know, it'll be yours. You have to stay within it and practice. Oh, this is another thing, y'all. When these negative thoughts come in your mind, all of these evil feelings and everything, don't resist it. Because see, when you resist it, you give it energy, you give it your attention. What you want to do is renounce it. You want to practice renunciation. That's when you pull your attention away from whatever is bogging you down, and you place your attention from your choice, your decision making, on something that you want to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to renounce evil instead of resisting evil. I like that.
In church, they tell you to rebuke it.
Rebuke it.
Yeah,
Rebuke
same
it.
thing. Yeah, rebuke it.
Yeah, I say that like when a negative thought tries to come through, I'm like, you know what, God, I rebuke this negative thought. You will not
In the
prosper,
name.
and
Yes.
and it goes away, you know, and I don't think about it, and something else comes through, and it may be like another negative thought. You know, sometimes you may have those negative thoughts that come back to back to back.
Yeah.
But as soon as that negative thought comes through, don't even let it make a full entrance. If you feel it negative as it's coming through, I rebuke that negative thought. What's next? You know,
Move your
Yeah.
attention away from it.
Yeah,
Take
you
your
have to.
attention away from all of that and focus on your vision.
Yeah.
Focus on what you desire.
Yeah.
That's what you want to focus on.
you have to.
And it comes with practice. Again, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something you have to make the conscious decision, the choice, the effort on daily to say, you know what, I'm going to put this into practice. And then once you do it, after a while, it's not something that you even have to think about. It's just
Automatic.
It's automatic.
Yeah.
It's their whole message of build your own brain. It's like you got to
Yes.
restructure the way you think, right?
Exactly.
You got to, and it's incremental. You can't just do it all at once.
It took a long time for you to become negative.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Probably
happen overnight.
probably your whole life. Because I know I fought depression for over 30-some years.
Yeah.
And being negative where I am with BYOB, with Build Your Own Brain, it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It was a decision that was made day by day by day.
Yep.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I started off by being grateful.
That's it.
I started off by taking a pen to paper and write down 3 things. Just it. In the morning, first thing I wake up in the morning, I just write down 3 things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it started off with just 3 things per day. And then it started with, okay, after I wrote down those 3 things, I wrote down 1, 2, 3 and left those blank. And I would come back later today and put 3 more things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's like, I'm finding everything. I'm writing out stuff all down every day.
That's how I am too. Like
Yeah.
every moment that I have, and I find something that I'm grateful for. I'll pull out my grateful notebook. I'm like, I'm grateful for this,
Yeah.
and and I continue doing what I'm doing or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, I'm grateful for this. Like I'm consistently writing it down because it's the little things.
But you know, that attitude of gratitude is what opens doors for us, opens those doors that we don't even consider ourselves worthy of walking through, that we may not even be on paper qualified to walk through, but God honors that.
Yeah.
He honors that. And it takes us further than anything else, than our degrees, than our skill set. That takes that attitude of gratitude will take you further than any of that ever will, because you can be as skilled as you want to be, as degreed as you want to be, and all of that. And if your attitude is not correct for the situation, then that door's not going to open for you.
No, it's not.
Because you're not ready. You may be ready on paper, but you're not emotionally or mentally or physically ready to accept that level of responsibility, so.
Your attitude is like a magnet. Mm-hmm. It's going to draw in closer everything that has to deal with it. You know what I mean? If you feel like you can't, guess what? Every situation in your life of that day is going to draw I can't to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You won't.
You won't, because you just said it. You the power of the tongue, man. You got to train that. You got to train it. So, rejecting suicidal thoughts. How are we going to do that?
Well, you know what? Like, I've never known anyone personally that has had other than you, that's had attempted suicide, but as far as knowing someone physically, like how Melvin has, what he said before, I don't know anybody who has had suicidal thoughts. So this is just my outlook on this. What I would have to say is and you can jump into. So I would have to say, you have to release the negative things and feelings and emotions that are going on within you, because those are the things that's holding you back. You have to keep your head up, keep your head above water, keep your head at level. You cannot allow the things that are going on in your life affect you in your everyday life. That's one thing, because there's a lot of people who dwell on different things, different situations, different activities, different whatever that has been going on with them. Yeah. It doesn't matter from the age of 5 to the age of 10 to the age of 15, if you're 40, if you're 50, if you're still dwelling on these certain things, you're still going to continue to feel that hurt, that pain, that negative, whatever it is that's causing these thoughts that's going through your mind, like no one loves me, no one cares about me, no one understands the way that I'm feeling, no one knows what I'm going through. You're not the only one in this world. You feel like you're the only one that has this particular issue going on. In reality, there's billions of people who have that same situation that's going on. You have to learn how to reach out to people. And even though you feel like, you know what, that person's not going to listen to me, I'm bothering them, or I'm putting all of my pain and my emotion into them, and they don't want to hear this. You don't know what that person wants to hear. Right. Yeah. That person can actually change your entire life around.
Right.
Yep.
And you just have to be open. Don't stay stuck and complacent in that same spot and feel like you don't have anybody, because you do have people. There's different people that you can connect to. Mm-hmm. You can connect to the suicide prevention hotline, which is you can call or text 988. And that's the suicide prevention hotline.
988, everybody.
988. Call them, text them.
Write that down.
Write it down, because there's different people and different things and different, just oh, my mind is bottled with this, but there's different resources out there that will be able to help you. Don't feel isolated. Don't feel alone. Talk to somebody. You have to talk to somebody.
Got to stop suffering from something called myopia.
The thing that you mentioned too about 988, you know, sometimes people feel very insecure about opening up to somebody they know personally because of the way they may be judged for, whether it be a family or a friend. So sometimes maybe calling or texting 988 a stranger who's not gonna, you don't have to worry about the judgment there, and then maybe they can help you to find a local group or a local person that can help you more one-on-one without having to have those insecurities of sharing it with a family or friend, you know.
That's a really good suggestion. Just the sound of a different voice that you don't know. And they don't know you.
Yeah.
It is totally anonymous, you know. So 988, that's a good one.
You have that, but you also have, if you look, a lot of people are like, but counseling is expensive, you know, and all of that. But there are, if you look it up, there are resources within your community, within, if not your area, surrounding areas. There are counselors who will take you on as
pro bono.
Yeah, pro bono, because they care. They just care. Like we live in a world where we just automatically assume people don't care. Nobody cares, but that's not true. And that's one of the biggest myths that we have to overcome in our minds, that nobody cares, because somebody cares. You may be in the wrong circle where you feel like nobody cares because of the people that you are surrounded by. That doesn't mean that nobody out there cares. It just means you need to find a new circle.
Right.
You know, and I would say another one of the things to overcome suicidal thoughts, because I won't say eliminate, just because some people can't eliminate them. They may pop back up, but you can always overcome them, right?
Right.
Like you said, we can rebuke it and we can move on, but you have to acknowledge it first, that it's there.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't lie to yourself. That's not going to benefit you. Don't say, oh, I don't have those thoughts, when you know you do. Acknowledge it. You got to acknowledge it, because if you don't, then you're not going to try to find the resources that you need to help you overcome them. And then, yes, maybe eventually you can get to the point where, you know what, I don't have them anymore and they've gone, but we got to overcome them before we can just say they're gone away. And to yourself, like you said, it's really about getting those resources that are available to you. Absolutely. You know, finding that help, whether it's talking to someone that you know or that you don't know, or going to a group, or finding literature to read, or going to church, or going to, you know, something, whatever it is.
It started with reading.
There are so many resources out there available that will help you find your coping mechanisms and help you overcome, you know, where you are.
I'm a big fan of, I think it's called bibliography. Like you read. I started reading about myself. I started reading about my subconscious mind. I started reading on how to pray. You know, because a lot of us we pray incorrectly. You know, you want something, right? But passively, there's a stronger feeling on the inside of you saying, I don't believe that'll happen. I'm going to ask for it. God, give me this. I want this to happen. I want this to happen. But on the inside, you feel like, man, why am I fooling myself? You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing? It feels like I'm wasting my time. And if you have that type of feeling, just that little inch, like that small mustard seed of no faith, that cancels out your prayer of what you really want.
Yeah.
Because you're bringing in the negativity,
the doubt.
That's going to cancel it out.
Yeah.
You don't want to cancel out your prayer. You don't want to cancel out your meditation. You want to meditate and pray about it and stay there.
Yep.
And stay there and have no other type of speculation or doubt, because that little bit of doubt, it will cancel out your whole request.
And I'm a firm believer that we are all here for a purpose.
Yep.
And my faith tells me that until I have fulfilled that purpose, then I'm going to be here.
Yep.
So if my eyes open every day, that means that I am still working towards my purpose. And figuring out that you have a purpose, even when you don't know what it is. When you find that out, there's something so empowering and motivating about knowing that I am here. I woke up this morning because there's a purpose for me. I may not know what it is, or I may not fully understand what it is, but I know it's there.
Right.
Yep.
And therefore, I have to keep getting up and moving forward every day so that I can walk towards my purpose. Because if I make the conscious choice that I want to live in my purpose, whatever that is, even if I don't know, I know that every step I take, it will be revealed unto me. And how exciting is that as it's being revealed to say, oh, you know what?
It's working.
This opportunity might be linked to my purpose.
Right.
And if that's the case, then this might happen, and this story might happen, and I might end up being that. That is so cool to me.
That's the excitement.
That's so motivating to me to get up and keep going every day, because I want to see where the road leads.
Right. Right.
I want to know where I'm going in this life. 'Cause I'm 42 years old and I don't know where it's going to lead, where it's going to go.
Yep.
But I know that I have committed to walking in it.
Right.
I have committed to getting up every day and making the conscious decision that I want to see where it goes. So I gotta stay here. I'm nosy. I gotta stay here.
You want to keep
I want to
going.
know. Yes, I want to see. God, show me.
I like that. Be nosy about your own life.
Yes.
I always say that, you know, good or bad, everything happens for a reason.
For a reason.
And sometimes the bad situations may lead you to very fortunate situations, you know. Right now, a personal battle I have, I got laid off on May 18th. And what are we on? What's today? July 30th, 31st?
29th.
29th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still unemployed, you know. It's not easy. I don't talk about it on camera. I don't talk about it on YouTube. But I'm doing what I can to stay afloat and make my way. You know, I'm applying to jobs consistently, trying to network with friends, and it does weigh on me, you know, because I have overhead, I have expenses. Like, I don't have a fallback, you know, it's just me, you know.
Yeah.
I don't have a spouse that I can rely on to get through it. It's just 100% me. And so finding the positivity in every day sometimes are tough, but I just stay headstrong and I focus on 100% of my attention right now. Absolutely 100% of my attention is finding a job and growing my YouTube, because those are my two things that could potentially lead me to success right now is finding new employment or growing my YouTube and my podcast. So that's my inner battle right now. So yeah, it's sucked, man. Like, I don't dwell on it though, you know, like my family keeps checking on me. They're like, you doing okay? Some of my close friends are like, hey, you doing all right? I'm fine. I need money, but I'm fine.
So can I push you a little further?
Yeah.
Melvin? I'm going to push you a little further. So because of the faith that I have,
Yeah.
instead of, I don't want you to focus 100% of your attention on finding employment, because I want you to figure out what door is about to be open for you in this season.
Yep.
There's a reason that you got laid off, and it obviously wasn't to deplenish your funds,
Yeah.
but it could be to help push you closer towards, again, your purpose and your goal. If
Yep.
you having this time is allowing you to focus on all of this that you have going on,
And
which
then
I
that's-
am highly amazed and in awe of, then that was the purpose. And you're right where you're supposed to be, because your bills are still getting paid. You still got a roof over your head.
Yep.
You
Hey.
haven't missed any meals, right?
Hey.
Yep.
So you're being taken care of. That means that God has covered you, and that you're not here, like you said, by circumstance.
Ooh,
Yeah.
And I
like-
can only say that because I've been there.
No,
I was
it-
laid off for 2 years, and we didn't miss a mortgage payment
Yep.
or nothing. And I was like, and it ended up being right in line with where we needed to be at this point for me to be able to work from home and take care of.
Exactly.
When my mother-in-law got sick and when COVID happened and we had to homeschool my daughter for a year, I was able to be there. And otherwise I would not have been. But he knows. And
Yeah.
Like I said, if you just say, I'm going to walk in the path that you've laid for me, whatever that looks like, and we have the true faith to say whatever that looks like you said, good and bad, right? Because
Yep.
it ain't all pretty.
Right.
Yep.
And that's the other misconception that we have to stop making people think it's always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's hell and damnation,
Yeah.
but we can still overcome it, right? So I commend you for being strong, but I also want to push you and challenge you to say, what is it meant for me in this season
Yeah.
to not be employed where I was? And what am I going to get out of this?
And I 100%, I would say like 20% of my time is spent, 80% is on YouTube, because they can attest, right? So like, as long as I've been doing YouTube, it used to be like getting a couple of videos out a month. Then it was like, oh, I can get at least one video a week. I can get at least one video a day. You know, May I put out 50 videos. June I did 130. July I'm doing 131.
Yeah.
And that has amplified the growth of my channel significantly in a short period of time. And what's always held me back from the growth is being employed, because I couldn't put the time towards it that I wanted to see the growth. It was like a catch-22. It's like I have to be employed, to do the things I want to do, but I can't get the goals that I want because it's sucking up too much of my time.
Hey.
And so right now, yes, I'm very much putting in the effort to find employment because I absolutely have to have it. But at the same time, I'm taking any ounce of extra time that I have and fully sinking it into YouTube. So yeah, this may be the end all be all. Maybe I don't end up having to go work for somebody else. Maybe I can continue to grow this. This becomes my full-time gig. And that's what I've been working towards for years. But you know, sometimes some YouTubers blow up overnight because they just have a random video that just set them off and they got that quick success. But then there's people like me who've been grinding for years trying to get that growth. So,
but your time is coming.
Yes,
as long as you are diligent, it will come.
And that's what
exactly when it's supposed
yeah.
to.
And I think I've told this to Dwight and Rochelle before. People say, why do you sink so much time into your YouTube if you're not making money? And I'm like, because eventually I will. You know, I will.
You gotta grow. You gotta come from somewhere to get to whatever.
And it's not like you're not doing anything. Your platform is allowing us to be here.
Exactly.
To put out this content to the world right now. So again, purpose.
I say this all the time. It feels awkward at times, almost weird, to give praise over the mathematics of God.
Yep.
To see what God does. For him to add, he gonna subtract.
Yep.
For him to multiply, he gonna divide.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to take a step back or to take two steps forward.
The math ain't mathing to us. Right.
That's why I say
mean that it's not working for
these
you
are
good.
God mathematics. You know what I mean? And when you give praise over God mathematics, and people may look at you crazy. They're like, "What you even? Yeah, man, I'm praising God, man. I done lost my job, man. What?
You know something?
I lost my job,
Like
baby.
you done lost your mind.
Something I was going to mention earlier, and I can't remember when it was when we were talking, and I didn't want to cut somebody off, and then I kind of lost my moment to say it, though, is when you are looking up to other people and thinking you can't accomplish what they do because you see their life on social media, just as I just shared with you guys that I'm out of work right now, and it's not been something that I've openly spoken about on social media, you have to remember that a lot of the times all these things, all these lifestyles, and all the ways that these people are living on YouTube and Instagram and all that, you're seeing their highlight reel.
Yes.
You're seeing the best moments of their lives. Some creators, some content creators will show those low moments too. But the majority of them are only going to show you the highlight reel. They're going to show you, it's like the movie movie trailer before the full movie, right?
Just see the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Talk
see
about
the behind the
highlight
scenes.
reel. I'm glad you brought that up. On the subject of suicide, there are so many people who go into a state of hopelessness and even depression because we are living in the highlight reel and always chasing that moment. We dwell on it, right? We only want to be there because, you know, that's
There it feels good.
The adrenaline,
Yeah.
the excitement.
Yeah.
Feels good. Everybody was commenting on that. Everybody has something to say about my highlight reel. They love my highlight reel. They appreciate my highlight reel, right? And if everybody could come together as a collective and be like, look, I got highlights, I got low lights, I got no lights, I got all of the things, right? If we can come together and just be honest. And I'm not saying be overly shared. You don't have to give all your business. I'm not saying that. But just be honest to say, you know, no, this was a good time, you know. But you also have to know, you know, to take that trip, you know, overseas that we did to the islands where everything was beautiful and y'all are loving these pictures. I had to save for 2 years to get there.
Hey, they didn't see you
I
saving
didn't
every
just
week.
get up and say, oh, let's take a trip tomorrow
Right.
and we go. You know, we don't talk about the struggles. We don't talk about the work that goes into it. We don't talk about the downs. We only want to share the ups because we want the likes, right? And we want the attention. We want people to think that we are greater than our human selves. And if we could just be honest and be open and be transparent and say, oh, thank you. That was a struggle.
It's like that.
I like
It's
that
like,
outfit.
it's like that one selfie. You know, like, oh, you know how long it took me to get this
Right.
selfie.
You know how many
How many takes I had to do?
76 pictures out of my phone that it took me to get that one shot. Right.
Yeah,
We don't talk about that.
That was a struggle. You didn't see that.
Right.
You didn't see how
Right.
put that together.
That's like all the pictures I take, I suck my stomach in before I take the picture. And then people see me and they're like, you got a gut. I'm like, yeah. I ain't going away. That's from that guilt eating we were talking about earlier.
Oh my God.
Shipley's Donuts is right downstairs, and so are like 100 other restaurants. So
So check this out, everybody. Build your own brain. Get a pen, get a paper. We're getting ready to write this down because we're about to give you some ways to prevent suicidal thoughts. Breaking them down to you. First one, check this out. You want to show genuine care for yourself. All right. 2, practice your communication. We talked about that a little earlier. Okay. Control your inner conversation. Research human behavior. Accept event invitations. That means, hey, be a little bit of social.
Yeah.
Move yourself around from these 4 walls that you see all the time. Go outside. And last one right here, check this out. Imagine your dream already true. Okay? So going back to the first one, to show genuine care for yourself, everybody, this is what I want you to do. Take yourself out on a date.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
I like that.
Date yourself.
Yeah.
All right? Be friendly and kind to yourself. You don't want a negative experience, but you want a positive experience. And don't take yourself somewhere where you feel mediocre. Do something that you love to do.
Do something lavish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can
Yes.
practice self-care.
Yes.
You know, self-care is always good because it
Yeah.
grounds you a little bit and you're
Yeah.
focusing more on yourself versus other people, and
Go get your hair done.
I was just about to say, go get a haircut.
Go get your hair did.
go get your nails done.
No, you know what I need to go do? Is I need to go get I need a good back massage. That's what I need, man.
Yeah.
That too.
Get a back massage. You know what I'm saying? Do these things. Now, the second point, practice your communication. Hey, verbally practice
a big one.
yes, because you know it's a lot of individuals that don't that mumble. They probably don't know how to pronounce.
Oh my God.
They don't know how to pronounce, maybe, you know what I mean, or practice speaking, okay, by just saying hello.
Yeah.
That may be hard for some people to say hello to someone else, you know.
Yeah.
That's them coming outside of their box. But if you can do that, that's a step.
Can I add another angle on that too?
Yes.
And a different way of practicing your communication is don't always wait for somebody else to communicate with you. You know, whether it's verbal, like you're saying in public, but also if there's somebody that you want to talk to, don't wait for them to call you or text to. If you go ahead and reach out to them instead.
Yes.
Don't always be on the receiving end. You should also be trying to communicate with people.
Put yourself out there.
I
Yes.
want to add one more
Yes,
to
ma'am.
that. Practice listening.
Yes.
Yes.
People don't always take into account that listening is a part of communicating.
Right.
And I have a mantra: drama is avoidable because we create it. How do we create it? We don't listen. We don't listen to hear. We listen to respond. We think before we speak. So we allow ourselves to get caught up in our feelings and our emotions based on something that we heard because we weren't listening. And that's, if you really break it down, that is the root of all drama, right?
Yeah.
We didn't hear something. We didn't really listen, or we didn't communicate properly how we were feeling or our thoughts or perspectives. So if we practice doing both, listening to hear, not to respond,
Yeah.
and really practicing our ways to communicate. When you feel it, if I've made you feel some kind of way, then tell me that.
There you go.
Yep.
Don't hold it in and then sit and now you go fester and I'm not even thinking about it because I
Right.
don't realize that I offended you.
Yep.
And now you're mad at me.
And it's
every time
building
you
up
see
over here,
me,
too.
You got an
Uh-huh.
attitude. Right.
Yeah.
Like, use your words.
Yes.
You know, we say that to kids all the
Use your
time.
words.
Use your words.
Use your
If we can practice communicating, we can bring ourselves out of some of the drama that we put ourselves in that put us into other situations.
And to control that inner conversation,
Yeah.
real simple. Make a decision and stick with it.
Don't do the back and forth.
All of that back and yes, that indecision, being ambivalent with inside yourself. Stop all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's good. You know what you desire. You know what makes you feel good. You know what uplifts you. Go that way.
Yeah, it's like the angel and the devil on the shoulder. You know that the devil is going to be the negative and the one that's going to get you in trouble. But that angel's going to guide you. It's going to have you making that right decision. So that's the one that you want to go with.
And it's comfort. And it may sometimes it's comfortable and it may be uncomfortable too.
Yeah.
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 So you got to think about that
And
also.
that's okay because that's where you grow. You don't
grow
grow
when you're
when you're
uncomfortable.
comfortable. You grow when you're uncomfortable. So we have to be okay with being uncomfortable and know that something is coming out of that.
Yes.
You know, and stop feeling so inconvenienced in our discomfort.
Yep.
My favorite one, research yourself. Your human, the way you behave. Why are you acting like this? There's a root cause to this.
Yeah.
Not only yourself, but human behavior in general. I like this because the more you learn about human behavior, again, the less easily you are offended. Like we take everything so personal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, they're doing this on purpose to intentionally upset me or offend me.
Constructive criticism. How can you accept constructive criticism.
Right.
You know, you have to practice accepting that stuff. Like they're not telling you this to put you down.
No,
Yeah.
they're trying to help you.
Improve you, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we're trying to build you up.
Do you remember when you guys had me on as a guest at the Daily Smoke, and I told you anthropology, the study of humans, and I said that like one of my favorite things to do, and it might sound crazy, but like just go in and walk into Discovery Green, sit down at a table, eat, and just watch people. Not in a creepy way, but just like
People watch.
just people watch and seeing how people interact with each other and how they engage and just human behavior.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there's something to be learned from that, because what you grew up with and your circle may be completely different from somebody else's, and you can learn something from that.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. And guess what? Be social.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yep.
Do something.
Yeah, like change your scenery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go for a walk. All right. Go to the park, or do something different. Go to a library. Ooh.
That's a good one.
Just something different. But if somebody says, "Hey man, we're having a birthday party," you know, you usually say no, and you usually coop yourself up inside and avoid all of that.
Change that and just go.
Yeah.
Go enjoy
Never know
yourself.
the outcome
Yeah.
of it.
I was just about to say that you never know what comes from that. You meet new people.
Yep.
You make new connections. You open up new doors. You expand yourself. You expand your opportunities. Like, yeah.
I was waiting for us to get to this one, because sometimes people say, I don't know if I should go because I don't want to go by myself, right? Especially if it's like a social setting that you don't know anybody. But that's exactly why you do go,
Yeah.
because you meet new people and you get new experiences. Because if you go with somebody you know, then the chances of you talking to anybody else are going to be cut in half or completely off the table, right? So like one of my friends, there's a networking event tonight that I might go check out in the film industry. I would be going by myself. I don't know a single soul there, but I still might go just because who knows, it might open some other doors. It
Yeah,
might
that's
introduce
it.
me to
Like
somebody
that one
new
person, that
with
one-
like-minded, you know?
Yep. That one person might be at that event
Yeah.
that's going to take you over the
Yeah.
top.
Change your life forever.
Forever.
And even not, it definitely in opportunities, but also in mindset. Think about some of the times when you feel the lowest, right? And you're sitting in your room, like you said before,
gotta get out.
all by yourself in your own head. And like we said earlier, I believe there are no coincidences in life. And you get out and you go to that event, and the right person, God will send that angel to cross your path.
That
Just
part.
let you know you're not alone.
Yes.
You know, and I'm here, or to help open and create that network that we talked about before that will help with your to help be your support system. So yeah, you got to get out.
And also, if somebody extended you an invitation, then that means they want you there.
Yeah, they thought about you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They thought about you. It took energy to think about you.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're special. You're wanted. You're loved. Okay? You are valued. Your presence is wanted.
Yes, it is.
Your presence is wanted. That right there, that's it. Your presence being
It's the
wanted.
proof.
There.
They want to
Yeah.
share time with you. They want to
You
share.
don't have to guess. It's the proof right
yeah.
there.
Right there. So if you decide to take yourself out, no, don't do that. Your presence is wanted. It's needed. You are loved.
Yes, you are.
Imagine your dream already true.
I do that all the time.
You
Yeah.
have to imagine
Yes.
your dream is already true and cancel out all that doubt. And then you know where that doubt comes from? Comparison. And you got to remember, comparison is a thief.
Trying to live up to somebody else's highlight reel.
It is a thief.
I always tell people, so my maiden name is Jones. I always tell people, I'm not trying to keep up with
The
the Joneses.
Joneses.
I am the Jones.
I got some Joneses in my family too.
No, see, we might be cousins. So.
It's so real. Stop tying your future to your past. Okay? Leave yesterday where it is. Where is yesterday? Gone. That's where it is. You got to start every day with a clean slate.
You know what you think about yesterday?
That's it.
That's it right there. Yeah. That's the side effect.
Oh, my
Here's a big
goodness.
one for guys, for men. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to show those emotions.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned this, because I was going to mention it earlier when we were talking about being open and with your feelings and things like that. And I think that culturally we've changed. We've had a pretty good shift, at least in my lifetime. But I know that overall it's always been expected that men just suck it up and move forward. And a lot of the times men's feelings are excluded or ignored. And I don't think I don't think it should be that way. And I don't think everybody holds that standard and everybody feels that way, but I definitely think it weighs heavier on men that you're supposed to be the one that just keeps moving forward and not be able to share your thoughts. And I'm glad that we're starting to see a shift away from that.
Oh, yeah.
What I used to hear, because I'm born in the 80s, we 80 babies in here.
I'm in the 70s, baby. 78.
Well,
He's old.
only by the calendar.
I used to hear a lot, a man got to do what
man
man got to do.
Yep.
And that was like, to me, I took it up as, okay, toughen up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Toughen up. Suck up them tears, okay, and get to work. Get on your grind. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And don't think twice about it.
And there's those moments you do have to do that, but you also have to be vulnerable at moments too,
Yes.
and recognize your feelings and your emotions.
Right.
Man, when you cry, that does it
Release.
Releases
Yeah.
so
it releases
much.
something in your brain.
Yeah.
It releases all that built up feelings
Tension and
and
stress.
tensions.
It's the acknowledgement. It goes back to the acknowledgement because you can do both.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can cry and still be strong enough to push through and
Yeah.
do what I have to do. Because to Melvin's point, sometimes you don't have a choice. Like, it's got to get done. I got to do it. It doesn't mean that I can't feel the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we have to say. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
It can be both. I can have my emotions and acknowledge my emotions and feel how I feel
Right.
while still having the tenacity to push through and get the job done.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I'm doing so gleefully.
Yeah.
It means, you know what? This is hard and I'm struggling and it makes me feel sad. And I'm still going to do it, but it's still hard and I'm struggling. And
You
I
just got to
still
make
feel
the best
sad.
of the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and once I overcome the task, then in the process, I can still deal with my emotions of it. And then when I'm done, I
That
have
part.
addressed both of them.
Thank you.
You know, versus
Yeah.
saying, I don't
Yes.
have time to feel some kind of way. I got to get the job done. No, you can do both.
Yes. Hey, you know what? It's good to reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may have to take a day.
Yeah.
I had
may
to
have to
take a
take
day
several.
a week ago. I had a meeting over here at Melvin's crib, and I was like, man, I'm feeling down and out today. I'm not feeling it, and part of me was embarrassed
But you shouldn't be
to call Melvin and let him know, hey man, I'm not feeling the meeting today, man. I want to cancel. Part of me was like that, but then I was like, you know what? No, this is build your own brain. BYOB. I need a day.
You got to decompress sometimes.
I need a
have
day.
to.
So I texted him and let him know,
You
man.
can't be
hey,
scared to say so.
I need a day. I'm not feeling it today. And you know, I need to reset. And it's another thing for you to reset, know yourself. Know how to bring joy to yourself. Don't feel like if you're by yourself, you're bored 24/7.
Right.
No, you are your own company. You know what I'm saying? You can uplift yourself. You have all of it here inside of you to be adventurous.
That was something else I was going to mention earlier too. Be constructive and productive with your time. You
Yes.
know, it doesn't mean you're ignoring your feelings or ignoring the thoughts that are going through your mind. But if you can find something you enjoy to do
Yeah.
that is either constructive or productive,
Right.
that you enjoy, and you start to change your focus and focus on different things, then slowly you'll be able to, like we said, it doesn't happen overnight, but you start to train your brain onto things that you enjoy. And when you're doing things you enjoy, you spend less time dwelling on the things that have brought you down.
Yep,
When you do that
absolutely.
joyful
Yeah.
thing that you like to do, it's almost as equivalent of crying almost, because like you letting go. You know what I mean? You're just
Yeah.
letting it go. You're resetting. And you're just enjoying yourself.
Something I got on my list to do, and I'm going to try to do it this week. I wanted to do it this past week. I just couldn't fit it in. I'm going to drive down to Galveston on one of these days off, right?
Hey.
And I don't have anything. I'm just going to go down there and just sit on the beach or go sit on the
I
pier.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just
Listen to the water.
inhale the stench of Galveston. No, it doesn't always stink, but no, like I just like I'm used to taking at least like one trip a year. I didn't get to do that this year, and so that was kind of like weighing on me a little bit, because I was like, man, I need a break, but I can't take a break, and being unemployed and taking a vacation is not the same thing,
That's
you know.
right. I was just about to say that.
So I do have downtime right now, but I can't do anything with that time, like take a vacation, because I just can't do that, right?
Right.
But I can drive down there for a day, and I don't need anybody with me, but just go down there and zen out and just let
clear
my
your
brain,
mind.
just meditate, you know,
There you
like
go.
just relax
There you go.
and get out of here, because I've probably driven twice, maybe 3 times in the last 30 days. you know, and with the
you get to
heat,
change the scenery.
yeah, and with the heat, I haven't really been getting outside as much. I've been hitting them tunnels, going them tunnels. We got 6.5 miles of tunnels down here, but yeah. So I need to decompress. I need to just go do something that's different, and so that's one of my goals this coming week is to just go drive to Galveston and just sit out there.
Yeah.
And you
You'll
said
find so
something
much
that
happiness
I
within that.
also want to address, and I talk to a lot of people who are working on starting businesses. Progress and productivity doesn't always mean that you are doing something.
Just because you're doing something doesn't
Right,
mean you're
doesn't mean
accomplishing
that
something.
right.
You know who I saw say
Right.
that very eloquently at a college speech was Denzel Washington.
Exactly.
He said, just because you're doing something every day doesn't mean you're
Doesn't
doing
mean-
something.
Exactly. And sometimes doing nothing is productive and it's progress because it is allowing you to sit in whatever you need to sit in. It's
Yeah.
allowing you to regroup if that's what you need. It's allowing you to take a break, you know, taking a break or taking a vacation, like you just said. It's not always about going somewhere. It's about stopping
Yeah.
whatever it is that is work for
Just
you
hitting
so
pause.
that you can regroup. Right, hitting pause. And that is productive in so many ways because if I need to take a day to regroup, to rest, to sleep, so that I can be my best me, that was productive. Because if I
Yeah.
don't
Yes.
do that,
Yes.
how efficient and effective am I going to be
That happens to me about
when
every
I'm tired?
Yeah,
Right.
about
Like,
every 8 to 12 days, my body's like, we're
you hit the
done.
wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't care what you had on your list today.
And like I said, you're doing stuff, but you're not doing a thing,
Yeah.
you know, because you need to rest. And so, you know, that is productive. And we can't discount that.
Yes, yes.
Can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Next slide. Watch this, y'all. Why do I feel so low? Why do I feel so low? You have allowed your past to determine your moods. You're very indecisive in your decision making. Hey, guess what about the foods? Look at the foods. Failure to eat healthy food your body requires. The junk food you got to stop eating all this junk food.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Your physical posture, it speaks louder than words. You know, the person that's always slunched over, you know, just slouching. Hey, man, stand up straight, walk straight. Social media that you're watching, friends, family, and world news. Guess what? Turn the TV off. Turn the phone off. Okay? Open a book. Inadequate sleep patterns. That's a big one.
That's me.
Man, that's me too. I was
Tossing
just
and
about to say,
turning.
That's the one right there.
Tossing and turning at night, wrestling with God. What is on your mind?
Turning it
I
off.
battled insomnia my whole life.
Yeah.
Insomnia.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I could sit here at my desk and be nodding off,
Yeah.
But
and I go to my bed,
Wide awake.
and then I'm wide awake,
Wide awake.
and my brain's racing with a million thoughts
Yeah.
of the things I want to do the next day or different ideas that pop into my head. It just doesn't make any sense.
It
to me.
takes practice to clear.
To turn it off.
Yep.
It's hard.
It takes practice to clear it up, to clear all of that out. So, my suggestion again, the whole thing where BYOB stands on, being grateful,
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to show your gratitude.
practicing that gratitude, that attitude of gratitude, writing those 3 things down that you're grateful for.
What, we gonna do a round of 3 things?
Let's go. Let's go. 1 for me. I'm ready. You all ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
First thing I'm grateful for today, discussions. Discussions. All right. Second thing I'm grateful for today, index cards.
Because you got them loaded with notes over there.
Loaded with notes all day. And the third thing I'm grateful for today is the Don't Do It seminar. This right here that you're seeing on screen. Because this is what I want to raise awareness on to help reduce the numbers of suicide. Michelle?
My 3 things today are open discussions. I'm also grateful for, what am I grateful for today? Lord, I'm gonna give you 2 other ones. I'm grateful for being able to communicate.
Yes.
And then I'm also grateful for this seminar being able to help other people who have felt these things that we're talking about and help them come out of it.
So for me, I am grateful for collaboration of thoughts and ideas. I am grateful for family, my family specifically, because it has helped build a lot of the thoughts and ideas that I have in my ability to progress forward in life. And I am grateful for the ability to obtain knowledge.
Hey.
There we go. I'm gonna do 4.
Oh, okay.
because one of them's a little bit corny. Number one, because of the topic that we're discussing today, I'm grateful for 9888. So that again is the number that you can text or call if you need someone to talk to. I'm grateful that that exists. This is super corny, but as many videos as I put out and do on a regular basis, I'm thankful for Dr. Pepper, even though they aren't sponsoring me.
Y'all need to sponsor him.
Right.
That's the one I said's a little silly, but no, I drink that stuff like water, which I know is not healthy. I'm grateful to have met Candace today.
Yeah.
And have her here. And then number four, and it's one that I always say every time we get together and have these discussions, it's just basically I'm grateful for this platform. And today it's my platform, but the last time it was someone else's platform. But to be able to sit here around the table and discuss all of these things openly with everyone.
That's how you be grateful, everybody. Round of applause, Melvin. Round of applause. As a matter of fact, we were so grateful because you gave me number 4. Give me that funky beat.
You know, for anybody who is struggling or suffering from depression, just call up Dwight in about an hour, and you'll be like, all right, I feel a little better. Go home now.
Let's do it.
And do life. Yeah.
All right, so look, we about to at the end of the seminar, y'all. Check this out. Two more slides. Self-isolation. Talk about this real quick, because it can be good, and at the same time, it can be bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the good, you read self-help material, you pray and you meditate in the correct way, and you start conditioning your mind in a new direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff.
Negative, dwelling on the past, dwelling on those past decisions and asking yourself, why are others happy? Why am I not? That's comparison right there.
Yeah.
Comparing self to family and friends, that leads to worry and sorrow. So these are the things. What we want to focus on is the positive isolation.
Right.
That's what you want to focus on. Be a person of finding a solution instead of finding comfort within the struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to find a solution. To find that solution, you got to want it. You got to ask yourself, how bad do I want it? How bad do I want to feel better? How bad do I want to live better? How bad do I want joy in my life? How bad do I want all my bills paid? I mean, you know what I mean? You gotta really want it. It has to be an urge, a desire, okay? See, you fail to take one day at a time. That's the thing about it, man. We try to serve like the next 2 weeks, we try to serve that into today.
Into one day.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Instant gratification. I talk about this a lot when I mentor youth. We live in a world, a day and an age where they don't even know what delayed gratification means. Delayed? What does that word mean?
They don't even know what dial-up internet. Talking about delayed.
Oh, that's the struggle.
Or no cell phones.
Yeah.
Like rotary phones, like all of that. But really, we live in such a society of instant gratification. We don't want to do the work. We don't want to take the steps. We don't want to take the time. I want to start my business and become a millionaire tomorrow. What do you mean? It may take me 3 to 5 years just to start to earn a profit in my business because everything is going to be going back into the business. What, I got to wait 3 to 5 years just to earn money from this? You mean I'm not going to be by 5 years I should be a millionaire already? That's not real life. That's the expectation. And so we have these unrealistic expectations of life in general, not just about financial, but just all the things. We have this unrealistic expectation that we're supposed to be happy all the time. We have this unrealistic expectation that marriages are supposed to be fairy tales, when none of that is real life. Every single aspect of our life requires work.
Work in progress.
It requires effort. And we want to do these things. We want to have the house, but we don't want to pay the mortgage. We want to have the long marriage, but we don't want to ever have to overcome an argument.
Right.
We want to have all of these things, but we don't want to do what it takes to have, not only get them, but to sustain them.
Put in the work.
And then it puts us in this ill mindset because we've set these false expectations. By the time I'm 25, I should be married. I should have a house. I should be on my first of my 2.5 children. Like all of that. What?
Overwhelming obligation.
Right.
Yes.
We got to stop doing that to ourselves. We got to stop doing that to ourselves.
No, you got to know first. Okay, we're not perfect.
Not at all.
We're not perfect, but guess what the goal can be? Strive to be perfect.
Everything.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every step that you take, believe that it's perfect. All right, we're
Learn
not
from
perfect.
mistakes.
Yes, I like how my mom calls it. My tea lady, she say she called mistakes bought lessons.
That's it. Yeah, I like that.
You bought that lesson.
Yes, you did.
All
Hello,
right?
Miss Elaine.
You bought that lesson.
And you
don't
want to
come-
know something about the things that you actually have to buy versus that are given to you, you cherish them more.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
You appreciate
That's
them more.
right.
You're gonna
Hard
take
work.
better care of it.
Because when somebody just
yeah.
gives you something free, you disrespect it as quickly as possible. You probably lose it, don't even put it to use. But when you spend your own money on it,
Oh, you gonna.
when you spend your own
Take care of
time,
it, yeah.
oh yeah,
Hold it
yeah.
closer.
Mhm.
But don't put your feet on that.
Uh-huh.
Watch that.
When people like kids come over here and they're putting their feet all up on my tables, and I'm just like,
Cringe.
Like, get
Hi.
your
wrangle your kid up, wrangle your kid up before I
Just-
throw him off the balcony. Not really though, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
oh,
They don't understand the concept of money until they start making their own, you know,
Yeah.
and they start spending their
Spending their
own money. Now it's like, okay, now I see what dad and mom was talking
that's something
about.
else that shifted too. At least like that I've seen. So I said my first job was at 16, but like realistically, I was working with my uncle starting at 14 in the summers doing AC work.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunate or unfortunate, kids nowadays, a lot of them don't have to work until they get out of college. And that's not across the board for everybody,
Yeah.
but it is like that in a lot of households. And I say it's fortunate because they have the ability to not have to work and they can focus on their academics. The unfortunate side of it is that they don't learn the personal skills and dealing with people,
Work ethic.
the work
Yes,
ethic.
Yeah.
And so their expectations are set too high. So they think, I got a college degree, I should get the maximum salary range. Pfft, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get an entry level salary range until
Yeah.
you learn how to do your position, you know?
And
So
you have to deal with people. So many people, they're like,
yeah,
so and so made me mad, so I'm gonna quit. My
Yeah, and you can't-
My supervisor said so I'm
Yeah.
gonna quit because they can't talk. What?
You'll be quitting a lot of jobs.
it's not
Yes,
like the
you
arguments
are.
you have with your mom and dad where
it
you can,
happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
yeah. I worked in retail too, and it used to
Yeah.
drive me nuts because I was in management, and we would say you need all your requests off days by a certain date. If you're in band, you're in extracurricular activities, whatever. I need to know about it by this date. And then the day of, I have a game today. Well, you know what? If I'm sorry you have a game today, but if you don't come in, don't come back. Right? Not because I'm trying to be a jerk, but because that job still needs to be done,
Yeah.
and you know the rules. So
It teaches responsibility.
you have to learn.
Because
It humbles them.
You knew 2 weeks ago that
Right.
you had a game. You knew
Yeah.
when you got the schedule that you had a game, but
And-
yet you waited till today.
To the
Yeah.
very
That you
last
had it.
minute.
And
to
in
say
reality,
something about it.
a lot of the times either they were irresponsible and didn't request, or they made up a lie so that they'd not have to come into work, and they're using the game as an excuse. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the two.
It's
Either
taught.
way, they didn't
It's
do
taught.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taught.
So and it was like I didn't like to do that to people, but people have to learn sometime.
Yeah.
And it also teaches again
Responsibility.
responsibility, but that nobody owes you
Yeah.
anything. And that's why you have to love yourself. That's why you have to be good to yourself, because it's not fair for you to expect everybody else to make you happy.
That's
To
right.
take care of you, to support you, to make sure that you have the best life possible, because that's not how real life
The
works.
world doesn't
does-
revolve
Right.
around.
And if we
That
can get
is.
past that thinking, then we can focus more on our own well-being, all of it, our mental, our physical, our financial well-being, because I know that I'm responsible for me.
Yep.
So-and-so is not responsible for me. I am.
Yes.
Even in relationships, we get into, and that's a whole nother, we do a whole marriage seminar. I'm ready for that one. But we get to thinking that other people are responsible for making us feel a certain kind of way all of the time. 100% of my well-being and my emotional stability is your responsibility. Now say that out loud and tell me how that sounds.
That's
Yeah.
wrong. That is
Right.
totally wrong.
Right.
Totally wrong concept. Wrong way to think. You are responsible for your own happiness.
Yep.
You're responsible to encourage yourself. You're responsible to inspire yourself. Yeah, you've been through some things, and some certain people have done things to you, influenced you in a certain way. But you come to a point in time in your life where you have to start making a decision on your own for
You have to
yourself.
accept
You have to.
responsibility for you
Yep.
at some point in your life. When you're a kid, yes, you're limited. We understand that. But when you become an adult, at some point you have to take accept responsibility.
Yeah.
And
for you.
accountability.
And the blessing in life is that, yes, there are other people who will be placed in your pathway that will support you and also love you and also care about your well-being. They're not responsible for it. That's the extra.
Hey.
That's the blessing in it.
Now watch this. This one is, why try? Why try? Well, three answers. The what if, the possibility of, and the what could be. You know what I mean? Right, so I'm gonna break it down. Now see, the question, the why try, see, this whole why try question comes from you having a lack of vision.
Yeah.
Why try? Well, if you had the vision, you would know why to try.
Yeah.
Because there's a pot of gold, put it over there. It's a pot of gold over there at the end of that rainbow. All you gotta do is just have faith and keep going, one foot in front of the other. We forget about positive imagination. It goes in one direction, the opposite direction. And in the opposite direction of positive imagination, that's anxiety.
Yeah.
You speculate every event as negative and you downgrade your attitude to that pessimism.
Yeah.
Cancel all of that out. Because, see, complaining leads to blaming.
Yes,
Yeah.
You start blaming people like, well, it happened because of that. But that person did this to me, or this, or that one time, that situation. So you start pointing your finger that way. But when you point, remember you got three of them pointing right back at you. You know what I mean? So yeah, you got to start taking that. It's not called, the game of life is not called blame. The game of life is called claim.
Yeah.
Claim what's yours.
Claim your victory.
You know what I mean? And you come from abundance of victory. You come from an abundance of intelligence. You come from an abundance of value and love. But you have to claim and know and realize that. And once you realize that, you don't care what anybody has to say about you. You don't care what they think about you. All you know, I'm right here, and God loves me.
Yes.
Infinitely. That unconditional love. You know, that agape love. So, the what if, check this out. If you commit suicide, what about that lottery ticket you bought last night?
I need to check mine. It's sitting right there.
I didn't win it last
You
night.
see what I'm saying? You played the lottery last night. Like, hey, you might hit tomorrow. So, hey, what about that promotion? What about that promotion? What about that awesome health, generational wealth, new house, new car? All of these are what ifs, but you won't be able to find out.
Lifetime.
Say that again?
That opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah.
It could be tomorrow.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
always think about, too, what lies within us. You could be the person who has the next big idea. You could be the person who gives birth to the person who has the cure for cancer.
Yeah.
You could be, you could be destined to be so many things, maybe not even directly, but indirectly, that don't get to be fulfilled. Or, well, the way God works, now they get to be fulfilled through somebody else. But it could have been you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the possibility of, okay, yeah, I've been through a divorce, but then there's a possibility of a new relationship. There's a possibility of a new family. There's a possibility of new love. You know what I mean? There's a possibility of you writing a book, of you putting in work in the community, of you doing so much good work. There's a possibility of a Nobel Peace Prize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just these good awards and these recognitions and all of these uplifting things. There's a possibility of it. So you don't want to just cut yourself off. And then the what could be? Oh my goodness. What could be?
There's no limit to that.
Yeah.
And people take that like it's a cliche, but really, like you think about taking some things from where they are. I'm going to go to my work life. So the CEO of our company, he took over the company, a company that used to sell tchotchkes and, nonsensical things I say when I look at what we used to sell. And now not only do we sell high-end furniture, like really high-end furniture, but we also offer hospitality opportunities, like in a big way. Like our galleries where we sell furniture have restaurants on the rooftops. Oh, wow. We have yachts that you can rent out and jets that you can rent out and exclusive hospitality opportunities. And every idea that he had, people in the industry said, that is crazy. That
So when we
doesn't make
hit
sense.
the Millionaire Club, we can come hit you up to rent some of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and take me with you. I want to see some of this stuff in person too. But every idea that he came up with when he said it, in the annual earnings calls and things like that, where you put all of this stuff out for the public, people are like, "That's crazy. That's not going to happen. That doesn't even make sense." And that was just in 2016, and now it's 2023, and everything that's been on his list, it didn't happen overnight. Yeah. Some of the deadlines didn't get met; they got delayed. Because he was like, I'm not going to do it just to do it. I'm going to do it right because I'm passionate in this. I believe this. This is my vision.
Hey,
yes.
And
vision.
so it has come to fruition, and it's continuing to. But it's because when he looks at what could be, the possibility of,
look,
he's like, as big as I can think. I mean, you think about all of the things that we have in our world. You think about the internet, right? When that first started, I remember, my husband and I joke about this all of the time, when CDs first came out, no more cassettes, we had CDs.
Wow,
and people were investing in that, right? You're spending $20 for a CD, right? $30, that's a big deal. You're in high school, you got to spend $20, $30 for a CD, but you wanted it, you saved up, you bought it. I remember my mother-in-law telling us, I don't know why y'all waste y'all money on that. That's not going to last. That kind of thing, right? And we joke about it because it lasted for so long until, guess what? The next big thing came along. Everything in our world is constantly progressing. And the only reason it's doing so is because somebody said, what if we take this and do this?
Imagination.
What if we
find a way to do it better?
This would be better if it was this. Oh, man, but that'll never happen. But why not? How can we make it happen? Somebody
electric
had
cars.
to sit there and say, cars in general.
Yeah.
We used to walk.
What about
and then they went
airplanes?
from walking to saying, this animal over here that has 4 legs, I bet we can train it to get us from point A to B. And then they took that and said, what if we attach these round things on it with this cart, because now I don't have to sit on it. I can sit on this bench while it leads that. And then somebody took that, and now we have cars. And then somebody took the cars, and now we have electric cars. And
self-driving cars.
Yes.
Self-driving cars, right? Everything progresses because somebody else said, what if?
Yep.
The imagination.
Right. And the vision.
The imagination.
The vision.
And it
right?
has opened your mind, too.
The imagination. If you think hard, just think about it a little. You got to think hard about it. But right now, the time that we're living in right now, we are the imagination of our ancestors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They thought about this time.
Yeah.
They thought about flying like a bird.
Yeah.
and we're taking flights every day, all day.
Yeah.
They thought about communicating in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight, you were saying your grandfather hit 100 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the evolution he saw in his lifetime.
I think about that often.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, postal service to email.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that
To text message.
Yeah.
To chat and messenger. My dad yesterday just celebrated 61 years ago that he left Cuba to come to America.
Wow.
And my dad will be 83 this year. Wow. And so when I think of what he's seen and conquered in his lifetime, it's just amazing, the evolution of the things that he's seen with his eyes.
Yes, yes. And we just keep progressing, like Candace said. We keep progressing.
Yeah.
You think about kids that were born in 2000, they don't, I was joking earlier about dial-up internet. They don't know what that is.
My nieces,
they don't know what a phone is that's connected to the wall.
The nephews, they always tell us, so y'all lived in the 1900s, right?
Well, you gotta put the hundreds behind it, though. You know what I'm saying? Why you gotta put the...
we were born in the 1900s.
That's a funny way to look at it.
But we were born in the 1900s.
They think we were on horse and carriage.
That's crazy. We were not here when the dinosaurs were here. Please don't ask me that.
Wow.
Oh,
But think about that. We're talking about suicide. Think about all the things that we just said about progression in the world, and it's just somebody having an idea. But think about if you take yourself out. What if you are that person?
Yeah.
You're meant for more.
Yes.
You are.
If you're here, like I said earlier, if God is opening your eyes every day, it's for a reason.
Yes,
It's not just.
He sees more life in you.
Right. He knows. He knows it. You don't know it.
You don't know where you're going, but
Right.
God already knows where you're going.
Right.
I'm telling y'all like this. I got 3 words that's going to put remember that broken heart at the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
3 words going to put it back together.
See, it's together right there.
It's right here.
You are worthy.
And this is the good part about this right here. The last word can be replaced with anything. It's not that you are worthy. You are love.
Great.
It's you are
Yeah.
worthy of love.
You are
You are
love.
worthy
You are
of
faith.
time,
You are
of
strength.
energy.
You are awesome. You
all
are
of it.
excellent. You are capable. You are able. You see what I'm
Phenomenal.
saying? You are knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You are spirit. You are intelligence. You are strong. You know what I'm saying? You are courage.
Yeah.
You can replace
are.
that word, that last word, you can replace that with anything that you wanted to be there. But I'm telling you, that's how you put yourself back together.
Yes.
Love yourself and know that you are worthy.
Be kind to
know
yourself.
that you
Yes.
are valuable.
Give yourself grace.
Yes.
That's the hardest thing for us to do as human beings, is to give ourselves. We can extend grace to everybody else. We extend grace to our children. We extend grace in relationships. We extend grace to our parents. We extend grace to our friends. We've all been in situations where we have been disappointed. We've been let down. We've been heartbroken. We've been all of that. We've been lied to, because that's the human nature, right?
Yep.
And we forgive them and we move on and we stay in those friendships and relationships. Our children are our children. Of course, we're going to forgive them. Our parents are our parents, of course. But we don't do that for us.
Yes.
We don't do that for us. We don't forgive ourselves. We don't accept our flaws. We don't work towards them. We just condemn ourselves over and over and over again until the point where we're like, I'm not worthy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we are. We have to show ourselves grace, the same grace that we extend to everyone else.
Filled with his mercy, filled with his grace, filled with his love, filled with his joy. Hey, man, I'm talking about the feeling is called ooh wee wee. You feel me? You gotta have that ooh wee wee feeling all up inside of
Go.
you. You gotta have that feeling like, hey, I don't care about your opinion, baby. I'm in this thing. Why? Because I'm building my own brain.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's BYOB. And it don't stand for beverage or bottle. That stands for the real one. Build your own brain. And you can do that. All you gotta do is train up yourself to celebrate all of your successes, all of the small things in your life. And those small things in your life are going to lead to the huge things in your life. And what you're going to do with that? Encourage. And not just be encouraged for yourself, you're going to be encouraging for other people. Because when they see you, they're going to be like, what you on? What you drinking? What you smoking? What are you doing to give you all of this strength and courage and joy that's inside of you that's just bursting out? Boy, you are liquid light.
Yes.
It's infectious.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's infectious.
You just gave me chills.
I love it.
I love it.
Liquid light. I like that.
Hey, that's been the seminar Don't Do It from BYOB, everybody. Remember, the special guest Candace in the building with the Society of Royals. We're bringing attention between the ages of 5 to 25 years old. Be on the lookout for events. We're doing events in College Station with delivering seminars to cancel out all of those suicidal thoughts and to uplift everybody. And there's going to be some more events also, so please stay tuned with that. And also we got coming next week on another platform, The Daily Smoke, giving a shout out to them. We're going to be talking about peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Oh, that's a good one.
Peer pressure. And and in 2023, they took the word pressure and they replaced it with influence.
Yeah.
So it's like, it takes a softer blow, you know, not like, when you think about peer pressure, like, ugh, but when you think peer influence, you know what I mean?
Sparks a-
Yeah. So that's going to be a good conversation right there. And remember, y'all can get in contact with us on all of our social medias.
For our Instagram is __ BYOB. Check us out on there. Every single day we post 3 things that we're grateful for. And then we also give you like a little message to be positive and be grateful and
To how to uplift yourself.
uplift yourself.
Yes.
You know, and then for our TikTok, our TikTok is _ BYOB ___.
I'll have links to that in the video description as well. And Candace, is there anything that you want to
Yes,
shout out to or link to as well?
So definitely, please go check out Society of Royals, societyofroyals.org. You can also find us at UB Royal on Instagram and Facebook. Please check out our I Will campaign. You can see my shirt. We have a campaign to stand with our children, our youth, to help keep them here with us so that we can have that future that I was talking about. It's just making the commitment to to hear them, to be their voice, to be their ears, to be their support. We sell shirts on our organization site. We have 5 different designs, 12 different colors. You can pick and choose, mix and match however you like, so that you can wear them in support and let our youth know we are here for you. I will be your voice. I will be here for you. I will adjust your crown and help uplift you.
Hey, I like that.
We'll have all her links in the video description as well.
Yes.
And don't forget, subscribe to Melvin on the mic.
Yeah.
Hit that
Yes,
like button.
definitely.
And most definitely share this link, share this seminar, share it out to people that you know that will be uplifted, that will be inspired. You know what I mean? We're not trying to shove it down anybody's throat or nothing like that. No. When you're ready for it, accept it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Want to close out with 2 things. If for some reason you happen to land on this podcast first, they did do some reaction videos earlier today as well.
Ooh-wee.
So go check those out. The videos kind of coincide with the message here.
Yes.
And then the last thing I want to do, and it's something I've not done before, and I think it's a little bit different. And so this is, I'm inviting you to leave a comment, whether it's a name or just initials, if you want it to be more anonymous, of somebody that maybe you lost to suicide that you want to remember them. And you're welcome to leave that as a comment. You don't feel obligated, but if it's something you want to do, name or initials, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yes. I like that.
Yes.
So
Anything else?
I just want to thank y'all for coming today and doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you. Absolutely.
we have 3D shirts available. Melvin has one on right now.
Hey, that's
Decisions
right.
determine destiny.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you guys for inviting me to be the guest. I have enjoyed it myself, and I hope that I said something that was helpful to someone. Thank you, Melvin, for allowing us to use your platform.
Of course.
This has been an amazing experience. So thank you guys.
Thank
Absolutely.
I think that's mutual around the table. I
Yes.
appreciate everybody's time today.
Remember, y'all, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Love
Please
yourself.
don't do it.
There's
Yeah.
more to it.
You are worthy of that love.
Your
Amen.
heart is whole.
We'll see you guys in the next video or the next episode, whichever one you get to first. So y'all have a great day.
Peace.
Bye.